efficiency bonus.
I'm gonna get this. Oh look, I can't actually hide anything off the camera anymore. That's exciting.
Wait a minute, it said hosting Praetor's rejects, and then 1 second later it said live up. Got it. Cool. Alright, we're up.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo. Hells yeah!
Alright, did I remember to...
We'll find out today.
I mean, I could just use my destroyed iPhone instead. How was the trip? Back safe. I'll take my donations of whatever
They're actually very particular about that.
Why? I have a small file it's still in the same tic tac.
It was weird. All the all the trees, like none of the trees, only 5 native birds. There's only 2 native animals: seal and bat. Everything else.
Is there a way to specifically turn dark mode on?
No, it's an option. So like go back to it. Sorry.
I was looking at settings. I've done the problem based on 7,000.
Are you gonna be accidentally no in your
No.
That was me opening.
Minute 41.
Somebody doesn't have Twitch Prime and doesn't have commercials.
Some of us are broke. Also, I don't use Twitch. The only time I use Twitch is to watch our own stream while we're streaming.
That is
He mostly uses Twitch, so this is my own account.
yeah.
So we use his.
Is it like just having Amazon Prime all like YouTube chickens doesn't cost anything.
I just watch Bob Ross on the weekends.
You watch Bob Ross on Twitch?
Yes.
Bob Ross is on Twitch.
Bob
Fridays,
Ross was on the
Saturdays, and
plane.
Sundays.
Did they get a necromancer?
They have like the little.
No, they just rerun his show.
Oh, nice.
Who is they?
Twitch.
Oh, Twitch specifically.
The Bob Ross channel. I assume?
No, one of the first like Twitch Presents things was for like the 20th anniversary of Bob Ross's death. They played all of the Joy of Painting.
It's also,
for, like, a
I
week.
think it's on like Hulu or something as well.
It's everywhere. Like it's mostly on YouTube now.
Yeah, it's probably because nobody cares to.
It is public domain.
Yeah,
That's why.
It was
Is it
from
public
public
domain?
access TV. Honestly, it's one of those few very, very close things.
That's why there's a lot of Mr. Rogers on YouTube too.
Did you hear why he always announces that he's feeding the fish?
Yeah.
Insects. All I have to do is click over the tabletop menu and does it.
That's not the one I set up, but yes. If that's the one you set up, then yes, that should work.
Hello, and welcome. Hopefully this is working. What's the one that you set up, Jason?
Well, it doesn't matter because that one looks like it's working.
We'll know in 9 seconds when it comes through on our end.
Hello, Internet, we're back! God damn it! Oh, I shouldn't have cursed in the first 30 seconds or you get demonetized. Well, this is a hot mess already.
We can just bleep that.
We can edit that in post. So we're back.
And by
Hello.
that we mean we won't.
That's true. Thank you for joining us. It is Tabletop Legends episode 24. It has been roughly 5,000 years since we've had a live episode.
We are back with a vengeance.
We are back with a
The
vengeance.
sun has died, and we're on a new planet now.
As you can see, we have a slightly different setup than we had before. Hopefully the sweet, sweet sounds of our voices are traveling into your ear holes in a much more enjoyable manner than they were before. We have updated all of our crap. Yay! So this is the first time that we have really stress tested this live.
Speaking of.
If it all burns down.
Keplin's in the chat. Keplin says it's working. Chat, we are depending on you. If some stuff sounds weird or is crazy or I'm too loud or something like that.
Desync specifically. That's a quick fix. Just need to know it's happening.
That's right. Do our job for us because we don't know how. So please keep call us on our nonsense. If anything goes badly, please let us know so that we can try and fix it. This is all new to us. But I'm super excited to be back. It has been, I don't even know how many weeks it's actually been since we've had a live episode.
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months?
It was 9/17 that we last met, so September 17th.
Did we have a live? Well, I don't know. We had several weeks where we didn't stream anything as we've been rebuilding our rig. We had a goblin one-shot. We had a coffee detective. So it's been a while.
That was the live.
It's been a while.
That was live.
But we are finally back, new and improved, better than ever. Gonna just do it. Just do it so good, you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And away we go.
And away we go. So, very quickly, we will have our normal mid-roll announcements that we'll play. But I wanted to give a shout out to our a friend of the show. Unfortunately,
We have friends? We have friends?
business acquaintances. A friend of the show, a fellow player of mine on the Monday night, we met in a tavern stream. Para, who plays the wizard Art, is speaking of coincidentally does a bunch of art. Para is a fantastic artist. I'm currently working with Para to maybe do some Tabletop Legends artwork. I'm working with Para to maybe design the other half of my my tattoo sleeve. Para is a super awesome artist and is currently looking to take some commission work. So stick around throughout the show. I'm currently chatting with Para to try and get some links that we can throw up. This is a little bit last minute. We were going to make a little like promo video with some art stuff. But I did want to throw that out there. Para, for those of you in the Proficiency Bonus Discord, you can find Para there. It's Para, P-A-R, 4 A's and an H.
Para!
Check out the Proficiency Bonus art channel on the Proficiency Bonus Discord for some of their work. They're currently looking for commissions, and you should absolutely get some stuff because it's baller. I don't know. I shouldn't have said baller. I feel weird now.
2009?
Not cool. Oh man, I'm so white. Okay, anyway. So please search for Para. We're going to try and get some links and stuff to throw up later in the episode, as well as our additional sponsor videos, specifically Little Dragon Corp and Marble Moon Studios. So stick around for their sweet video in the middle of our mid rolls. But one last bit of business before we begin tonight's episode. There's something that I'm going to do, something I want to read. And I explained it to these guys a little bit, but to explain it to the audience, there's something I want to do, and there's 2 reasons that I want to do it. First, for both the players and for the audience, as we said, it's been roughly the entire lifespan of universes since we've had a live streamed game. So since it's been a while since we've had our regular campaign, I thought a sort of a refresher would be in order to bring everybody back up to speed on exactly where we are, what we're doing, and why I'm going to do the horrible things that I'm going to do to this party in tonight's episode. The other reason...
I have 12 HP.
Hey! The other reason is that since this is our first episode back with our new and improved microphones, we have always sort of had plans to eventually release this as an audio-only podcast, as well as the VOD on YouTube and streaming live here on Twitch. With that in mind, just to sort of cover bases, I thought it would be a good idea if I did sort of a primer piece here at our first nice microphone recording, so that this way when future generations are studying this as part of their introduction to Dungeons and Dragons podcasts course in college, basically I'd like to give an opportunity for people who might be discovering our show or going back and re-listening to have the chance to basically say, hey, if you don't want to watch 23 episodes with questionable audio quality to start out with, start here, and there's a nice little primer for you for the game world, the campaign as it stands so far, to get you caught up. You can kind of start from there, and then if you want to go back and drudge through 100 hours of content where my air conditioner is in the background, you can. But that being said, I want to read this thing, get us back up to speed on the world of Imaginarium, the campaign as it stands, who the party is, and do a little recap of exactly where we are right now, and then we'll start the show. So, if you... boo, it's not a thing. Nope, the para is not... exclamation para is not a thing that does anything in Twitch yet. But it will be. So, here we go. Welcome to Imaginarium. The year is 1092 ND, the era of the New Dawn, marked by a return to relative stability after the slow and agonizing collapse of the Invarian Empire and its tyrannical regime plunged the continent of Orahol into centuries of war and political turbulence that dragged civilization across most of the landmass backward into a brutal dark age. Now, after 1,500 years, civilization has finally rebuilt itself over top of the crumbling ruin of what came before. New seats of power have risen to prominence. The 5 kingdoms of Orahol exist in a tenuous equilibrium. To the north, the collective of free city-states, united under a series of trade agreements known as the Valand Accords, make up what is commonly referred to as the Kingdom of Valand, a region run by pure capitalism, where the reality of life can be as harsh as the unforgiving northern climates, depending on one's lot in life. To the south, the wild and untamed Kingdom of Honorand, a vast expanse of arid flats dotted with rocky mesas and pocked with the occasional oasis or delta. A region steeped in a long history of resisting any form of outside influence or centralized rule. To the west, the Kingdom of Mithlande, oldest of the 5 and breadbasket of the realm. Its wide expanses of rolling plains, deep forests, and a long coastline allow it to prosper through its agricultural product. To the east, the Ignean Empire, the self-proclaimed rightful successor to the long-fallen Invarian's domain, founded on the same brutal authoritarian principles and oppressive caste system as their predecessor. And finally, the dwarven domain of Kras'Udur, a fiercely isolationist nation sequestered within the ancestral homes spread across the great Udur mountain range that divides the continent with its jagged snow-capped peaks. Through the precarious stability the 5 kingdoms bring, Orahol rebuilds. The mortal race is struggling still to cast off the weight of generations-long wars and the sheer volume of knowledge and magic destroyed in the process. However, not all that is forgotten is lost forever. In deep, dark places, in long-lost ruins, in the dangerous wilds, there are relics of the past to be found by those with the bravery and the skill to seek them. The arms race for recovering and unraveling the Invarian's lost knowledge has become ubiquitous across Orahol. The unique class of adventurers called relic hunters risk life and limb for the chance to make their fortune recovering artifacts from wherever they lay hidden, and an influx of old magic and knowledge back into the world has accelerated proportionally with their efforts. Orahol sits teetering upon a precipice, one that may propel it forward to prosperity and enlightenment, or send it plummeting into oblivion. Our story, however, did not begin with the monumental struggles of kingdoms, or the tectonic movements of forces old beyond measurement. Our story began in the woods. Enter our main characters. Nuala Shoreheart, Dragonborn paladin belonging to the Dragonborn junior paladin belonging to the Order of the Radiant Dawn, perpetual optimist, seeker of a long-lost friend. Kellen Forzair, the young gnomish man with a thirst for knowledge and an understanding of the past, who struggles with a power that he does not understand and can't always control. Walter Gray, bound to a debt that not even death will erase, struggling to provide a better life for a family that he has been forced away from. Abraham Brom Repluck, a troubled musician who's always got a guy for that. And Alar Cabot Jr., a man with the skills to take from those who have and don't deserve and give to those who do not have but need. 5 individuals from different walks of life, each with their own set of skills and personal goals brought together by a mysterious individual named Torian Idrian, a strange man with an unsettling knack for knowing things that he shouldn't, and a job offer for them that seemed too good to pass up. Transported halfway across the continent via an impressive display of magic, which seemed to lend credence to Idrian's claims of representing a powerful employer, the group agreed to take on a mission to the tune of 100 gold pieces up front, 200 upon completion, of an investigation into strange and unsettling rumors surrounding a small out-of-the-way village in northern Mithlande called Stone Mill. Recover and bring back any relic that might be behind the trouble was their task. For several days the group investigated the town, learning of strange rumors out in the woods, a murder, a disappearance, and finally the kidnapping of a young girl from her home by an unknown entity. The fledgling party, in their efforts to get to the bottom of things, found themselves alternately at odds with or working alongside a Mithlindian inquisitor sent to resolve the same issue they were looking into, a trio of competing relic hunters, the local law in Stone Mill, and even some of the superstitious town folks themselves, frightened and acting irrationally due to the danger. Their investigations led them to the knowledge that the assailants of the town were, in fact, undead. Specifically, undead dwarves, which appeared to be hundreds, if not thousands of years old, raised by some dark magic, and it seemed compelled to seek out magical items. What had raised the creatures, and to what ultimate purpose, was unclear. But the frequency and competence of the undead seemed to be gaining momentum. Eventually, the situation growing dire, the party and the Mithlindian Inquisitor set aside their differences for the sake of cooperation. The Inquisitor and her remaining soldiers stayed behind to defend the town, while the party set out in search for ancient dwarven structures hinted at in a tableau on the walls of a dwarven mausoleum in town. They found their way to a long-abandoned dwarven burial crypt, which had been entombed in the side of a mountain a few days' journey outside the town for countless years. Inside, at the very lowest level, they discovered the source of all the trouble. A creature, wretched and insane, with a twisted obsession with hoarding magical items and knowledge, had stumbled upon a wand left long ago by a dark wizard who had sought shelter in the crypts and perished. The creature, perhaps even unknowingly in its madness, was raising dwarven zombies, and in response to its compulsion for magic, they were roaming further and further from the crypt and bringing things back to him. One of those things having been the little girl that had been taken in the night. The party did their best to negotiate with the creature, but in its madness, they could not reason with it. It spoke in their minds, whispering dark secrets to them that it should never have known about, and in the end they were forced to slay it and rescue the small girl from its clutches. Leaving the crypt, the party encountered a few of the remaining undead that were beginning to falter, the magic that had bound them having been released. They found out that some of these creatures could still be deadly, as Brom received what appeared to be a mortal wound. As the remaining party dragged him from the chamber and attempted to save him, Brom had a vision. He saw himself pass into a boundless, endless black void, which seemed to howl with the voices of hundreds, thousands, millions of lost souls. But just before he lost himself to the black, a light, struggling as if from some far distant place, reached out to him and he was protected. Brom had heard a boon from the dwarven protector of the dead, Dumathoin, by making an offering in secret to a shrine in the crypt. And it seemed Dumathoin repaid the boon by staving off the effects of the mummy's rot consuming Brom's body. Shaken but alive, the group returned to Stone Mill with news that they had slain the creature responsible for the attacks and brought the girl home safe. They elected to leave the existence of the wand out of their report to the Inquisitor, distrusting the potential power of such an item in the hands of the government, even one as generally benign as Mifflin days. Their journey to complete their original contract took them the better part of another month, traveling south to the capital of Niveria, where they had nothing but an address to direct them to the mysterious employer that Tori and Idrian had spoken of. Along the way, they had their share of adventures. A run-in with their rival relic hunters, Rogers and the boys. A package to be delivered by Brahm on the orders of an unknown handler. And a river barge ride with some employees of the Moxham Trading and Mercantile Company, on behalf of Walter, brought them to the capital. It was there that they met their employers, a group of aging wizards known as the Collective of the Arcane Eye, with a mission to seek out, study, and neutralize dark magics scattered throughout the world. We rejoin the party now in an attempt to complete their first mission. They have been sent to the estate of one Bolus Trollyweather, a companion of Colin Copperkettle, one of the members of the Collective of the Arcane Eye, who had written detailing a tome that he had come across, which held, perhaps, answers to a curse that plagues Colin Copperkettle, causing him to forget all those that he meets. The group arrived in the town of Lagona, in southern Mifflin, and after some inquiry, found out that no one had seen or heard from Bolus Trollyweather or anyone from his estate for several months. This was slightly strange, but not completely unheard of, as Trollyweather had a reputation for being rather eccentric and often leaving for long stretches of time on trips to pursue his hobby of collecting reliquaries and arcana from all around the Five Kingdoms. Deliveries of foodstuffs, cut flowers, things of that nature to the estate had continued uninterrupted. Payment had been received, and the material was left at the estate and seemed to be taken in. Gaining instructions to the location of the estate, the party made their way out there, where they made some discoveries while examining the outside. The small stable containing a pair of carriages also contained the corpses of 2 horses, dead by what appeared to be neglect and starvation. They also found in the well evidence of months of household supplies having been delivered and then promptly dumped down the well to hide them by something. The guest house appeared abandoned, a thick layer of dust covering everything, clothing left hanging on drying pins, food left out on the counter, having rotted away to almost nothing. The main house itself, however, as they looked in from the outside, appeared to be in perfectly good condition, besides the fact that it was empty. They made their way in, and quickly learned that the house was not what it appeared from the outside. A horrifying amalgamation of wood and human, taking the shape of a doorman of sorts, burst forth, delivered a message that he was going to toy with his food, and then promptly dropped them into an abyss. The group then spent the next several hours fighting their way through a topsy-turvy funhouse where the laws of reality don't seem to apply. We rejoin them tonight as they have just come back together after being split apart by the house's machinations. Nula, who has the golden D20 tonight, and Kel fought their way through a strange storybook tableau series of scenes where they had to act out the parts of a children's book.
It was lovely.
Brahm and Walter were dance battled by shadowy creatures inside the music room, while Ronnie, the dragonborn barbarian who is currently an NPC, and Alar found themselves transformed into mice in an enormous kitchen where they had to successfully gather some cheese and bring them back to a bunch of mice orphans while being chased by a gargantuan cook and a demonic cat. We picked up the session tonight where the group all burst forth from their separate rooms. Brom and Walter coming out of the music room into the foyer. Ronnie and Alar coming out of the kitchens into the foyer. And Kel and Nula arriving at the top of the sort of balcony overlooking the foyer from the second level out of the library. Only to have the doorman once again emerge from the door. To which Walter promptly responded by elders blasting him directly in the head.
He deserved it.
Which actually seemed to shake him from something of a stupor. The doorman, seeming to come to his senses, or at least the human half of him, shouted a hurried instruction to the party of somewhere to go on the third floor of the house. Told them to hurry. Not moments before, from the doors that each of the groups had come from, the, let's call it the big boss of each of their rooms emerged. Behind Alar and Brom, a large, shadowy minotaur has stepped into the foyer. A vaguely feline-looking creature with a trio of writhing tentacles sprouting from its back came out of the kitchens behind Ronnie and Alar. And behind Kel and Nula, the door to the library opened and closed. But nothing visible entered into the room. Which means...
I thought we knew the library was on fire.
The library was on fire.
Until we got out.
And when you got out, and then when the door opened again behind you, it was no longer on fire.
Oh, okay.
And closed again.
Cool.
So I'm going to...
Totally normal house. It's fine.
Totally normal. I'm going to try something as we start here, because the lack of music is bumming me out. So Twitch chat, this is where you're going to come in handy. I'm going to try some music. We don't know how this is going to work with our new camera setup. I'm going to play some music on my speakers here, and if it sounds crazy or weird or messes up our audio, or you can't hear us or you can't hear the music, please let us know in chat, and I will turn it back off. And I suppose theoretically Jason could also listen to it.
Well, yeah.
We got some people.
We know.
There's people
we
in
know
there.
guy.
Well, they'll let us
get
know
it.
if we suck.
Proficiency bonus itself is now in chat.
Ooh, let's see. What's the cool one? I think we'll do this one. Yeah.
I mean, it's picking up. I see it picking up.
Well, chat will let us know if it messes up with our voices or it sounds crazy. We'll turn it back off.
If it picks up too much,
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. We won't.
The
Post? There's a post?
No, there's not. That's just a thing we say to make ourselves feel better.
the post is Matt with a laptop going, God damn it. God damn it.
knob off, knob off, knob off.
Proficiency bonus says sounds fine in chat. All right. Well, if that changes, we'll mess with it. Otherwise,
Exactly as we planned it.
yeah.
Good luck, everybody else.
Professionals.
Consummate
So-
professionals.
Let us begin. We rolled initiative before we started streaming because we knew this was coming. So,
Did we?
oh, you two didn't because you were late. Roll initiative, you two. Everybody else did. Jesus, Walter.
18.
Go ahead and slide the manor out of the
Yeah.
way there.
That'll be a 20.
You can do that more often.
I would say that was like
18.
that was like 3 different cameras that was on too.
18 for Brom
This one.
Yes.
and 20 for Walter.
Wait, is it this too?
What?
Both
Yep, you can move that whole thing.
Oh.
20, you said?
Yep. Yeah. After modifiers 20. It's the highest I've actually rolled in this
You
dice.
guys did good on initiative. Alrighty.
Well, I have 12 out of 40
Okay,
points.
it's not echoing and it's not too loud. So
Outstanding.
the
Those are
best
both
we can
good
hope
things.
for at this point. And Heplin agrees. So shout out to the real MVPs of the stream.
Dumb luck.
It's not necessarily dumb luck so much as 3 straight hours of me like making samples and samples and samples, and I.
Did we do that with the music?
No, I didn't test the music. Okay, you know what? Okay, I will acknowledge that is dumb luck. And a really, really convenient sound.
I was
Everything else
referring
is hard work
to
and
the two
consummate
MVPs as
professionalism.
the 2 people in chat telling us if it sounded like shit or not. So
Alrighty. So
I'm not done patting myself on the back yet, though.
Jason gets all credit. I couldn't figure this out even a little bit. Okay, so you guys are here. Beep beep. And a Minotaur has come out.
cool.
Is the Minotaur the cat or is the Minotaur the...
Minotaur is what was in our room.
Where's?
This is
Oh, that's Ronnie.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a giant bull.
It's not.
It's a Minotaur.
That's essentially what a Minotaur is, Jason.
Well,
I don't remember dancing with that.
welcome
I'm
to
sorry.
Tabletop Legends, where we discuss the finer points of what a Minotaur is. Okie dokie. So.
Fat centaur.
Cool. That's way too big. Christ.
What about this one?
It's been 16 weeks. I haven't planned any terrain for this session, you guys. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You guys can be up here. And there's essentially staircases going down like that.
What about up? Well, that
There is a hallway that goes like that.
way? Okay.
In either direction from there. Okay. Alrighty, so the first to react is Alar.
I thought I left you behind. The big cat gets a roll wisdom save.
Alrighty, the big cat rolls a wisdom save, and the big cat rolls an 18.
Nothing happens.
Plus 1, 8. So big cat rolls a 19. Alright, nothing happens to the big cat. Anything else?
Okay. Plan B, Ronnie. Run.
Alrighty, Nula, you are up.
Did we all hear the door say to run up to the 3rd floor?
I would, yeah. For sure. So as you look around you, if you're like looking at your thing, so like directly behind you two guys there is the door to the library that you just
Right.
came out of. Hallway goes in both directions.
Yeah.
Probably 60, 70-ish feet. And it does look like there is maybe another staircase that way.
That
from
way.
where you are going up.
Alrighty. So I really want to go up, but I don't want to leave people defenseless behind me.
What would Nula do?
Probably grab you and just hike up the stairs. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab him and run up the stairs.
Okay. Are you a willing participant in this now? Okay.
You're gonna out-grapple a Dragonborn Paladin right now.
Probably not.
So you, it would be a strength-based attack. So you're trying to grapple him against his AC, essentially.
Well, it's 15, so.
Yeah, you hit me.
So Nula kind of scoops Kel up. Kel is like kicking and wrestling and clearly protesting the dragage.
And trying to get him up to the 3rd floor.
Okay, so you start to take off. So I'll say you can. It's your action to trying to pick up Kel, obviously. So you're not gonna be able to dash. You can go to move 30 feet. However, Kel, what's your AC?
12.
Okay. As you grab him and go to start running, there is like you hear it. You hear like of something like whistling through the air, and beneath your arm you kind of feel Kel like jerk, and Kel, these 3 like rends appear across your like chest where Nula's arm is not covering, as something just slashes you as she tries to run past with you. So you're gonna take.
Kel takes the damage, not me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kel got attacked.
Oh.
Nice protecting.
Wait,
Oh.
can I use protection?
Boy. Does it specify that you have to be able to see the target of your protection?
Are you asking, does it?
I'm asking if it does, because I'm not sure.
I can say, yeah.
So no, you cannot see, and it rolled higher on its second roll anyway, even if it had a disadvantage. So Kel takes
47 points down.
19 points of slashing damage.
I am unconscious and dying.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you grabbed him then, because you got a corpse in your arms.
It'll be easier
So
to
you
bury
basically
that
you
way.
just you feel kind of like the jerk, and Kel is like hanging, and there is like blood just seeping over your arm where you're hanging onto him.
I'm gonna need a lot of therapy.
To Nula's knowledge, she thinks she just like walnut crushed him to death.
So you get about 5 feet when this happens. Do you want to continue to move the remainder of your 30 feet?
I guess to get away from whatever is attacking us.
Okay, so you can move
But I can't do any healing things, can I?
30 feet.
No.
No. Lay on hands might be a bonus action.
I don't think it is.
Is it not?
It should say
Yeah,
healing
it's an
words.
action.
Yeah,
Lay on
healing
hands
words.
action. Okay, so no, you cannot do any healing this round. Alrighty. However, I do think that creates.
Do I know that he's unconscious?
He's
Well, he was
pretty
noodle.
he was
Yeah.
protesting, and now suddenly he's
It's
really
pretty
quiet, and it's warm and wet.
and now
so.
he's asleep.
I will probably yell out, I killed Kel!
Let me just double check.
What?
Welcome back to the end of our campaign.
That's right. Just in time.
Join us next week. We'll be starting something completely different.
I don't know what's worse, this house or Nula's death hugs.
Okay, so yes, I wanted to check that. So, as the fact that it attacked Kel does cause the invisibility to disappear.
Oh, good.
So put that, yeah. So as you are running past, you feel this Kel goes limp, and as you kind of turn, you see what becomes invisible is this. There's no other way to put it. It's the witch from the story. She is like a 3D version of a crappily cartoon drawn witch. She has green skin and a big set of gnarled gross teeth going in all directions. She has this long white hair that's all tangled up with twigs and goop in it. And you can see she has one of her hands is extended and is just there's just Kel blood dripping down her hand. She looks at you and goes,
Tabletop Legends brought to you by Dripping Kel.
The witch killed Kel!
Walter, it's your turn.
I'm gonna. I guess I'll kind of see that all happening up there, and I'm just gonna yell, "Switch!" I'm going to try to Eldritch Blast the witch
Okay.
that popped up,
Roll the hit.
and I'm gonna fucking book it. Hey, where'd that good dice go? Well, all right. We'll just see what happens. It's gonna be 2.
He's using the crap dice.
That was with the weirdest physics I've ever seen.
All right. Well, it's a 17,
17 will hit.
and then the second one is not gonna be this dice because it's very confusing.
That
17 for half a
that
second.
die just defied the laws of physics. It was like, but like a crappy Price is Right roll where it just slowed down.
The second is a 1, that one.
Alright,
And
so
then
that one
it's plus 5, so it's a 6 to hit. So
No.
yeah.
Go ahead and roll damage for your one bolt.
7 points of force damage.
7.
I'm going to book it towards the steps.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay. You start running for the stairs. The next to react is Brahm. So Brahm, Kel has abandoned you, or Walter has abandoned you. There is a shadowy,
I have also
featureless.
abandoned you.
Kel has abandoned the mortal coil. There is a shadowy minotaur stepping out.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to dance my way out of this one. I'm gonna dash. So this was 30. This is where 30.
That's
is?
30.
That's
Yeah.
30. We'll say your dash can get you to the top of the stairs if you want
Okay,
to.
right in the witch's ass.
Right up by the witches. Alrighty.
Good, me with my 15 hit points.
Kel, go ahead and make a death saving throw for me.
12.
Oh, found it.
Success. Okay, so 1 success for Kel. Guess whose turn it is, boys? That witch turns around.
I'm dead. I'm so dead.
And she
What's your life?
15.
It was 12.
We got messed up in our room.
I am a really bad dancer, so
We didn't go. We went in messed up into our room, and then we got slightly more messed up.
The witch turns around and she licks Kel blood off of her hand and then swings it at you.
It's so unsanitary. Wait, oh god.
Well, that's a 7 plus
42.
that is a 13 hit you. Does a 13 hit you?
Yeah, that's exactly my armor class.
Yeah, it's a 13. Okay, sorry.
how's that paladin goblin?
Oh, way better for you than it went for Kel. You take 4 points of damage.
Still not great.
Sorry, 5 points of damage.
Oh, good. So I'm at 10. Awesome.
She just gut jabs you with these pincer fingers of hers.
Great. Now I have the entire alphabet of hepatitis.
All right, the Minotaur has just been abandoned. So he 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's gonna chase down Kel.
Hell?
That's gonna be
Or
fun.
Walter, sorry.
The Minotaur takes 5 points of psychic damage because it reminds him of his father who left.
This has been Psychology with Rob.
Is it right up? Is it right there?
He went out to buy milk and never came back. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say anything because it makes no noise. Yep, it's gonna... Oh, if it moves at least 10 feet. Yep. Okay.
At least 10 feet, it can murder anyone within 5 feet.
That's a 19 to hit.
You know, it just missed.
Oh, no!
Yeah, no, what number between 1 and 11 did it do to me?
Did 11 to you.
Great news!
Walter's
I'm
down?
not dead.
Oh, you're not dead. Okay, did 11 points of damage to you. So it basically just charges up, and you learn very quickly that the dance fighting portion of this Minotaur is done with, as it just chases you down and tucks its head, and as you're running for the stairs, you just catch Minotaur horn right in the back, and kind of lift it off the ground a little bit, slam down again.
Psychic and bludgeoning damage. Yay.
Okay, that is its turn, which means it's time for Catbug, the Displacer Beast.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's way less fun than Catbug.
Catbug! Alrighty, the Displacer Beast is going to move up to Alar. It's going to make 2 attacks. What's it to hit?
So glad we came back after all this time just for everyone to die immediately and the show be over.
A 16 and a 10. I think the 16 will hit.
16 does.
So the Displacer Beast deals 3 points of damage to you, Kel. Jesus Christ, I can't remember anybody's names. Alar. Hey, I think everybody's Kel tonight. Alar takes 3 points of damage from the...
Let's hope everybody's about to be Cal.
Everybody is.
About to be just as dead.
and it is your turn. We are at the top of the round.
Ronnie.
I did roll initiative for Ronnie. Alright, I'll roll one for her now. Okay. So she'll go on the next turn. Oh, I guess she can go now. She'll turn around and take 2 shots at the Displacer Beast. Both of those definitely hit. I'll tell you what, buddy.
You see magic?
Here's my
Ronnie's gonna be
D12.
the only one to live.
That's right. 5,
Someone has to tell her.
I'm sure she'd find the irony
We
delicious.
roll on through Ronnie.
15. So Ronnie deals 15 points of damage to the Displacer Beast.
At least someone is.
She just wham, wham, cleaves into it with her 2 great axe attacks. And she'll go after the hag on the next round because that's where she rolled for initiative.
Okay.
And now it is your turn.
I'm going to use my bonus action to disengage.
Alrighty.
20, 25. Heading up the stairs, I'm going to have the witch make a wisdom save.
Alrighty. The witch rolls a 12 plus something probably. Wisdom save plus 2, so she just makes it. Just makes it.
Why is this not working anymore?
Just stab them.
I'm working on it!
Alrighty. Nula, you are up. You have a floppy Kel.
It just lay on hands with
Alright, how many are you healing Kel for?
3.
3 points. Alright. Kel, you kind of like wake up in Nula's arms.
Did you pick him up with his head facing the way you were running, or the opposite direction of where you were running? Like, is he facing backwards or forwards?
Probably forwards.
Oh, good. He can't
Scooped
see
him up,
what
so
almost killed him.
he can't see the horrors behind you.
Alright, anything else with your turn? You're about 25-ish feet from where the hag is down at the, like, back at the stairs. You can kind of start to see the rest of your party is, like, running up towards her. You've got about another 35-ish feet to, like, the end of the hallway where you think the stairs are.
I will put Kel behind me.
Okay, you
Towards
set
the
Kel
witch.
down.
No, not behind me. Like
Towards the stairs.
towards the stairs.
Further away from the witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And turn back towards the witch. And just like... Can I move towards the witch?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can take your... you can actually get to her without having to dash. You're only about
Alright, I
25
will do
feet
that.
from her.
Well, she already used her action.
Oh, you did use
Yeah.
your action to lay on hands. That's true.
Yep.
Okay, so you can get right up in front of her, though.
Yep.
Alrighty, cool. Walter, you're up. You're at the foot of the stairs. There is a minotaur directly behind you.
I only have 15 left if everyone goes down. I need to
Yeah,
check.
same should have saved the others here.
Question. If I have Morgan flap in his face, do I have to use an action to disengage to run away?
Isn't Morgan not here?
Uh,
I thought we left Morgan was outside.
No, that
I
was
don't specifically remember that.
she's pocket.
I thought he tried to summon Scooter and it didn't work.
That was inside the...
the dream world.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So Morgan can take the help action, which...
Give me advantage on an attack.
So I guess
So-
what we'll say here is, if you want to have Morgan take the help action, I'll give him disadvantage on his attack of opportunity if you run.
Cool, that's happening because I'm going to dash away. I'm going to dash
Okay.
stairs towards Nula.
So Morgan will take the help action and stay there, and he's going to make an attack at disadvantage. He crit fails, so he definitely misses. And you get away.
And I'm dashing to the top of the stairs.
All right. You run up to the top of the stairs. You
Trying to like avoid
come up alongside a weird
threat
2D/3D chalk world drawing of a witch currently beating the shit out of the rest of your party.
You're in a 3D movie without the glasses.
Excellent.
It's bad.
Is that how my shiny coat looks to other people? It doesn't look like it has borders, and it should.
All right, Brom. So as Walter like zips up the top of the stairs and kind of rolls past you, it is your turn. You got a witch in front of you and a minotaur at the bottom of the stairs, currently with Morgan like flapping in its face and like clawing at its eyeballs.
Okay, the witch is going to have to make an intelligence saving throw.
Witch rolls a 10. Let me see what her int modifier is. So she gets an 11, which I assume fits.
Oh, yes, it does. Okay, I'm
Alright.
using Phantasmal Force.
Phantasmal
and I am going to
Force.
summon a giant eraser.
A giant
Coming at her.
All right.
And then I'm going to run past her as I do it. Be like, hey, Nula, you're welcome, bye! How far can I get?
Probably about to where I am.
Is it roughly 30 feet?
Sure. Like the Heiny Moiny, like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially like a giant hand with a pencil with an eraser. It's like, ah.
Okay. So the witch kind of is like cowering. The rest of you see nothing. But Braun is like laughing his ass off as he runs down the stairs. Okay, cool. Well done. Kel, you are up. So there's
First
that. You
time
can
that's
see the
ever
witch. She's
worked.
kind of like cowering from something that it looks like Brom did. And that's probably all you have line of sight on from where you're at.
We're gonna go like here.
Okay.
We're going to hold an action to cast a spell when these guys get closer.
Okay, cool. All right, so you held your action. The hag is going to go. She's going to attack Nula. Since Nula... Oh, no, wait. What's the terms of that phantasmal force? So, Twitch is telling us that... Remember that thing where we were having, like, weird, like, clicking interference every once in a while? Apparently we're getting that on stream.
Could also be him.
They said it's intermittent.
Your phone.
My phone? My phone's over there.
Okay.
Is it you clicking your dice around?
Is it this?
I doubt it. I think it's like sounds like they said it sounds like maybe a wireless interference. I know we heard that on one of the recordings.
When a phone or a Wi-Fi device was getting a message, it would pick up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not too unbearable for you guys in chat. We'll try and if you guys want to throw your stuff in airplane mode, if that's possible.
I'm powering mine off.
There we go. Hopefully we'll see what we can do to fix that. Anyway, where are we? Hag is attacking Nula. Jesus. The hag gets a 3.
Okay.
The hag misses Nula terribly. So you
That's
just
okay.
kind of feel the jolt in your shoulder as her claw swings around like into your shield. Which brings us to Ronnie, who is going to take another 2 attacks at the Displacer Beast. Missing both times. So she like swings this great axe down, and probably Alar, you can kind of catch this over your shoulder. She like swings, and you see the axe. Like the axe goes right through where it is, but it just like hits the floor, and she looks a little confused. And it becomes apparent that the Displacer Beast is displacing itself. Though, as she swings through it and misses, you're kind of able to gauge like where it actually is, which is like 3 or 4 feet to the left of where it looked like it was. So that's Ronnie's turn. Minotaur. Minotaur is actually going to attack Morgan.
Okay. Let me hold on. 1 second.
Do we want to slide this up since it looks like
Yeah.
you can't actually see
Sure.
further?
The Minotaur gets an 11 to hit Morgan.
She has a 12 AC.
The Minotaur misses. So Morgan's kind of like flapping. He sort of bats a massive meaty arm in her direction, but she kind of like squawks out of the way, and he misses her. Curtis is in chat.
Yeah, I saw.
What up, my dude?
Hey.
He's getting his comments blocked by the profanity filter on a pretty regular basis.
That sounds appropriate, actually.
He
Yeah.
managed to slip by with Minotaur wants to beat the meat,
I approved
so-
that one because it wasn't too bad.
Cool.
So that was Minotaur's turn. Displacer Beast is going to attack Ronnie. 2 attacks. Jesus, missing both times. So that's its turn. Which brings us to the top of the order with Alar. So the Displacer Beast is there. I want to say... so as it like swipes at her, you kind of see it like does a little like juke from side to side, and there's a little like, and you think the effect of its displacement has like kind of reset itself after Ronnie hit it, and after it swung at her.
Crap. Ronnie, just get up here. Leave it alone. Come on. And I'm going to run up behind the witch, and I'm going to cast Booming Blade and take a stab. And I am going to roll. That is a 5 plus 6. I don't think an 11 is going to hit.
11 will not hit. Alrighty. So Nula, Alar like barrels up the stairs and tries to like put his rapier into the witch, but she sort of, being as she's not fully 3-dimensional, it's like very difficult to get an exact like location on her. And he misses, and it is your turn.
Alright, I am going to attack with my Warhammer.
Alrighty, roll to hit.
Which is the paper?
22.
Oh yeah, that hits.
You get 2 attacks.
I have 2 attacks.
What does Phantasmal Force do again besides make her?
It'll do psychic damage on
Okay.
the
Does
next
it give her like disadvantage? Does it do anything else?
round.
Frightened. What's your second attack?
12.
12 will not hit. So the first one will do damage.
10 damage.
Okay. Let's see. Thunk. And I feel like a cloud of like chalk dust and ink kind of like comes off of her as you hit her with the hammer. She still appears to be like she's trying to like bat you aside, but she's also like cowering from something that seems to be to her left that you can't see.
It doesn't do anything
Okay.
else.
And Walter, it is your turn.
I'm going to go up next to Kel.
Did Kel let her...
So it's very
Neither of the
Nothing
dudes moved closer.
Okay.
it's very unclear if it's supposed to take the damage on the first, like the first when I cast it or not.
I'm going to pull it up on...
Because it says
What's it called? Phantasmal Force?
effect is convinced phantom that it can even take damage from the illusion. A phantasm created to appear as a creature can attack the target each round on your turn. So I guess that's each round after.
Yeah, we'll clarify that later, but yeah, we'll say on your next turn you can start damaging with it. Alrighty. Walter's turn.
Eldritch Blasting the Witch.
Alright, roll
Both
the hit.
beams, they are going to be a 15. No, hold on. Yeah, 15 and a 8.
Neither of those will hit, so they both sail wide.
I'm going to have Morgan use her action to disengage and
Okay.
fly 40 feet.
Alright, so Morgan runs for it. Flaps for it, I should say. Okay. Brahm, it is your turn.
It's going to take 8 psychic damage,
Nice.
and I'm going to just keep booking it up the stairs. So I assume I'm.
You can get, like, to the stairs from there if you...
This is where the stairs
if you
theoretically
want.
are.
Sure. Theoretically. Okay.
Well, I was gonna, because that, I mean, I was dashing.
You can't dash because you used your action to deal damage with the...
Is that an action?
I think.
It's the effect doing the damage that I already did. Does that count as my action?
Spell?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it takes your action to apply the damage with the Phantasmal Force.
It just says the phantasm can deal 1d6 psychic damage to the target. Yeah, it just says each round on your turn, the phantom can deal 1d6.
Alright, well then you can dash. You can get to the stairs.
Okay.
Alrighty. Kel, you're up.
Gonna back up.
Okay.
Do the same thing.
So you're like against the door now to the library.
Yep.
Alright, and you're just holding your action in case they move up?
Yep.
Alrighty. The hag is going to take a swing at Nula again.
Okay.
Ooh, the hag crits.
Mm-hmm.
Can the hag attack?
She didn't say she couldn't.
But she's staring down the barrel of a giant murder thing.
I guess that's
I
true.
would say
She'll
her
attack.
focus is on
Yeah, that makes
that.
more that makes more sense. She'll take a swing at the your
Murder.
Giant eraser.
invisible Daffy Duck eraser hand.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like you see her swatting at the air instead of at you.
okay.
All right, so you don't take a bunch of damage.
How much damage was that going to be?
I did not roll all of it. The first roll of the damage dice was 5 damage.
Okay.
And then it was going to be another 2d8 plus 4. So whatever that
I guess
would've
she
been.
can make her roll.
Her wisdom save?
Yeah, or intelligence check.
The target can use its action to examine the phantasm.
So she can't because she used her action to attack it.
There we go.
Because she sucks.
And as long as she's under the effect of it, she perceives it as a real threat. It smells, tastes, looks.
Smells just like an eraser to her.
Like a giant hand.
Ronnie is going to swing at this displacer beast. She actually managed to hit it despite it being displaced. She actually managed to hit it twice despite it being displaced. Okay. Hey, go Ronnie.
Can NPC have a little point?
She does another 15. Ronnie decapitates the displacer beast.
Cool.
You guys kind of hear from the bottom of the stairs like shunk, And as its head like topples off, it sort of like starts to like bubble and boil almost, and just sort of like it grows, and then just pops.
Ronnie, leave it! Never mind! Now get up here!
She's like, I got it, guys! So she'll use 30 feet of movement to get... actually, she's got 40 feet, so she'll get, like, part of the way up the steps.
Decapitation. Ultimate displacement.
So she's got, like, a little bit of Displacer Beast goop, although you can kind of quickly see it's, like, it's just disappearing as it like, lands. So she just, like, runs towards the stairs, and she's just, like, giving the finger to the Minotaur the whole way up.
Weren't there bodies in these before?
In what?
No.
There have been... You've discovered some... Well, you discovered the
There was
body
a girl
of
in
the
there.
dude. Well, you don't know that.
In the rooms. There were bodies in the rooms.
There were some bodies in the rooms where you specifically have experience with the body of the gardener that you found near the furnace. They have seen the girl, a younger girl, in the music room. But
Oh, okay.
you guys don't know about that yet. And
It's been 2 months.
That's right. Yeah, it's been a long time. All right, Minotaur's turn. So Minotaur, Kelly, your effect will go off because the Minotaur stomps off after Ronnie.
Second level Empowered Chaos Bolt.
All right, do it to it.
That is a 17 to hit the witch.
Okay, that will definitely hit.
Nope. Okay. So it's going to take. That's the least helpful table. 20 points of fire damage.
Woo!
But there is no bounce.
Okay. So your Chaos Bolt basically just like right over Nula's shoulder and strikes the witch right in your dumb witch face. And her head, like, you see the head like snaps back, and there's like Alar, a spray of like witch head just hits you.
That's the title of the episode. A spray of witch head.
Similar to the Displacer Beast, like you kind of feel like it hits you, and the body like falls, and it's just like, and then instead of being like goop like the other one was, this one's like, and it's just like dust, which quickly just seems to evaporate and disappear, leaving the witch gone in its wake as she is dead. Alrighty. Alright, so that was your move. So the Minotaur gets as far as Ronnie and is going to attack her. That's an 8 plus... so that's not going to hit. So the Minotaur misses Ronnie. Alrighty. Top of the order. Alar, you're up again. And Ronnie ducks under this like huge Minotaur fist, and he's like, hey, can we just kill these? It seems like we're winning.
Yeah. I snap my fingers, summoning Scooter to drop right on top of the Minotaur's head.
Okay.
And it gets to make a wisdom save.
Alrighty. It rolls natural 20. This is really not your night for these.
You're not
wisdom
cast
saves.
magic. I don't know what happened.
Scooter was going to use celestial rabies.
No, that was me casting, trying to cast Toll the Dead. Scooter takes a bite out of him.
All right.
16 hit?
A 16 definitely hits.
It takes 1 whole point of
Yeah.
damage. I think,
I told you.
and
So
it
it's like you guys, what's that movie? I know there's a Will Ferrell movie with a cougar, but there's always like
Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
there's always like a fake raccoon or a fake animal
yeah.
that's just like it's like clearly a doll.
Or like
It's like that.
like in the Jim Carrey Grinch when the cat is like
Yep.
goes through the thing on his face.
It's exactly like that.
Yep.
This Minotaur just silently is like flailing, and you see Scooter's like flapping back and forth, just hanging onto its head.
at least something of mine is working.
Well, he's certainly distracted.
Nula, you are up. So there
I
is a
will.
Minotaur with a weasel on its face.
We'll run up.
I can't
and
calm down. There's a cougar in the car.
attack.
Alrighty.
That's a 9.
9 will not hit.
19.
19 will.
You have the high ground.
You got weasels on your face.
10.
10 damage. Okay.
That's a throwback reference.
Alrighty. That is Nula's turn. Walter, you're up.
Can I see the Minotaur coming up the stairs from where I'm at?
Might take a little maneuvering, but yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Then
pretty
there's
good.
those.
How did I miss both of them? Okay. Yeah, so that's not going to do anything. It's going to be a 14
I will
and...
hit.
What?
14 hits.
It
Minotaur?
sucks.
It's 14 and 12.
12 doesn't. 14 does.
Awesome.
He's a real big boy.
5 points of
Alright.
Magical force damage.
Alright, so Walter's...
It's just like, alright, I guess we're winning, and then just like double finger guns at it.
Alrighty. Brahm, you're up.
I'm going to wait at the top of the stairs,
Okay.
and I'll hold the action that if I guess the Minotaur's the only one left, but I don't know that at this point. If one of the monsters shows up, I will vicious mockery it.
Okay. Alright.
When they have killed the rest of us and come for you.
Yeah. I am going to shout insulting things at it.
That's the hill you're going to die on.
Okay. Kel, you're up.
I'm gonna come up here so I can see. I'm gonna firebolt that guy.
Alrighty. Roll hit.
7.
7's not quite gonna do it.
I saw that.
Do not cook the weasel!
So in its
I'm
like
still
in its,
woozy.
in its mad like scrambling and flailing, kind of like just sort of like Neo matrixes out of the way of your
Oh,
firebolt.
it's dancing again? Is that what's happening?
Less dancing and more. There's a weasel clawing my eyes out. Desperation.
It's the new hip dance that the kids are going crazy about. The weasel clawing my eyes out.
Hag is dead. Ronnie is gonna take 2 at the Minotaur.
Move over, flossing. It's the weasel on your face.
That's a
man.
17 and a 19. Boy, it's a good thing Ronnie's here, you guys.
Oh boy.
Your time was brief, but really appreciated.
Ronnie does 19 points of damage to the Minotaur.
I'm not discounting
That's what
damage to the
happens
witch, but like,
when you're a
Okay.
barbarian.
I'm pretty sure she just soloed 2 of the boss monsters.
Alright, well, it's not dead. She does cleave hard into its gut with her great axe, and there's like a big gush of what you would be blood, but it's just like black ink essentially. Like comes out gross around the axe as she just pulls it back out. And that is her turn, and it's the Minotaur's turn. The Minotaur is going to attack her.
Protection.
You're at the top of the stairs there at the
So
bottom.
you just like wing your shield at it. It's like,
throws her shield.
Captain America.
You have to plan ahead for that.
Protection hits the Minotaur in the shin.
We're not going to do it here, but I might house rule that you can protection somebody more than 5 feet if you're willing to accept the penalty that you have to throw your shield until your AC goes down. You have to go back and get it later. So the Minotaur
You gotta learn the
deals...
skill to like bounce it off walls and it comes back.
You have to plan ahead.
Need a boomerang shield. Or like tied to a rope.
we need an artificer in the party for the return
Minotaur
item.
deals 13 points of damage to Ronnie, which doesn't seem to phase her all that much. And it is the top of the order. Alar, you're up.
Okay. Let's see. Scooter hits again, does 1 more point of damage.
Alrighty.
It dies.
That would be funny. And I miss again. That's a whole whopping 12 as I run down the stairs and try and stab the thing.
Alright. And...
How am I missing everything?
Stop trying to do it through the senses of your weasel.
Newly, you're up.
Shut it!
From like way far away, you just hear Broadville.
What's up?
Always plus 7.
16.
Yep.
That might be the opposite.
Yeah, that's 24.
Both hit. Go ahead, roll damage twice.
10.
10.
Okay.
And, yep. 10 and 6.
All right, so you come. You have the high ground, Anakin, as you come down the stairs, and just the extra height allows you to just bring the warhammer right onto the top of this Minotaur's dome. Not the weasel. Scooter's like, and just launches off of the Minotaur's face at the last second as you just crush your hammer down to the Minotaur, and it gives one big like, and then just like the others, kind of like gets all goitery and expands, but then just evaporates like smoke and disappears.
Spooky.
He doesn't feel so good.
Wow.
I think I saw a girl in that room. I think we need to go and see if she's okay.
So
I think we need to go to the third floor.
Yeah.
some stuff is
Door
gonna
on the
happen.
left.
So
Fourth door on the left. Yes.
give me a sec. Let me read something for you.
So she's
Gets
been
quiet
this
for
whole time.
about a second in the room, and then what happens is, so as the Minotaur is slain, it kind of fizzles and drifts off. You hear the Brahm, you don't because you're too far away, but the rest of you hear the actually, no, we'll say Brahm can hear it too. Instead of the front door, we'll say the door to the library. You hear that familiar kind of creak, crack, and groan of wood as that you're now beginning to associate with the appearance of the doorman.
Is the door right here?
Yeah.
Shovel.
All right, roll the hit.
I like where it's like. No. It's just a. It's actually like.
So you like
I got
clang,
3 to
you
hit,
clang into
yeah.
the door, but nothing has quite emerged yet. And actually, what you see as you're looking is that the doorman begins to like emerge. His head, his like half human, half grotesque marionette head, is you see. Rather than sort of the smug menace that he's looked at you with, as he begins to like emerge from the door, is contorted in pain and in rage and in fear. And around you, the house, you feel it begins to shake as if the very ground itself is undergoing a series of large tremors. The doorman pulls his upper torso free. Both hands plant on the doorframe, and they're shaking with effort as he forces his way out, his arms trembling. His human eye searches and finds you guys standing there. And he says, again, a repeat of what he said before. He says, "Please, 3rd floor, 4th door on the right side. It's spreading itself too thin, trying to stop you. We're fighting it, but it's too strong. Hurry! Save the master! Save us all!" He groans again, and his attention shifts away from you. He seems to be focusing all of his willpower on whatever this internal war that he's waging is. So, Brahm, you were at the far end of the hallway at these steps. You guys are on the landing here, about 30 feet down from the hallway, where the steps are. Thank you. What are you doing?
Sprinting up the stairs.
Yep. We are full on Scooby-Doo.
Alrighty, so everybody except for Brahm. You begin to run.
I don't know if this is a good everybody except for Brahm or a bad everybody except for Brahm.
You're at the top of the stairs. You start to run down the hallway towards where Brahm is waiting. Behind you, you hear the doorman lets out this scream of defiance. And you can look over your shoulder. You catch a glimpse of him still hanging out of the door. Both hands are now on his head. His fingers prying into the fissure between the wooden marionette portion of his skull and the human portion. And the last thing you can kind of see as you're running down this hallway is he's like wedged his fingers in there, and he is in the process of rending his head into 2 pieces, screaming as he pulls them apart. And what happens is you kind of like look over, listening to this. I need everybody except for Brahm to make a dexterity save.
13.
Okay.
14.
Okay.
22.
Nice.
21.
All right. So all of you succeed. So what happens is the house is creaking and is groaning. The doors to the various rooms in the hallway, as you're running down, begin to like slam open and close rapidly. The grandfather clock in the foyer beneath you begins to chime loudly and incessantly. You can hear the rattling of the antique suits of armors clanging around wildly. All of a sudden, the walls begin to like flicker. They're rapidly changing colors. And the texture and the pattern on the long rug that runs the length of the hallway is like changing pattern over and over again really quickly. You are running down the hallway, and suddenly, so that dexterity save was as you're running, the hallway all of a sudden goes like and just corkscrews. And where you were running on a flat surface down this hallway, it's now twisting and you're running at an angle. And it gets steeper and steeper, and eventually you kind of have to, like, jump from the ever-increasing angle of the floor onto what was a wall. And now you're, instead of, it's very, like, it's like Inception. The whole hallway is, like, turning. And you guys are having to, like, keep moving from floor to ceiling to wall to floor as you run. Brahm, as you're at, like, the foot of the stairs, you kind of, like, you just see this as they're running towards you. But from your position inside the stairwell, like, nothing seems to be happening right now.
We're just tripping over ourselves trying to run up a normal.
I mean, you see the hallway. You do see the hallway turning, but like the part that you're in, you're sheltered in the doorway of the stairs. So that isn't like that's not freaking out. As you guys keep running, go ahead and make me another dexterity saving throw.
14.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
15.
17.
All right. So Kel, you're the only one who fails this time. As you guys continue to run, those doors along the hallway are continuing to like bang, 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 open and close.
No.
And you guys are having to like, as you're running down the hallway, like a door will open, go around it, or a door that is on a portion of wall that is now floor will like open. And you guys have to jump over it. Kel, one of these doors like clips you as you guys are running, and you do sort of like a sideways somersault as the door had opened at like a real weird angle. Not quite on a wall, not quite on a floor. You take 1 point of bludgeoning damage. And manage to right yourself.
Knocked out by a door!
You do manage to right yourself and keep running. You get all of you finally to where Brahm is standing, and you charge into this stairwell, this staircase leading up to the third floor. And as you make it up there into this, you get a moment of like, you can catch your breath. The stairs don't seem to be freaking out trying to kill you. And you have a second here to like regroup, catch your breath. If you guys want to do anything before pressing forward, do so now.
Alright, welcome to the non-bananas part of the hallway.
Do we feel like we could reasonably take a short rest here in this stairwell?
No. No.
We don't have an hour.
You have like a second to take some actions to like cast healing spells or drink potions, things like that.
Alright,
Do I have potions?
let me
Excellent. I do not have.
cure wounds you. So 1d8 plus 2. Oh, that was an 8, that's 10. Who else needs? I only have 2 more cure wounds.
On a scale of 1 to 40, I'm at
He
a
needs
1.
more.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like bleeding.
He's
from
at
the
1 and I'm
nose.
at 10.
Walter's like sliding down the wall as you guys.
Morgan's like starting to like just like peck at the side of my head, and it's not registering as anything.
Cure wounds. An 8 plus 2.
You know,
Yeah.
normally I'd call that as like shenanigans, but I will take it.
She's gonna roll a 1 for me.
Alright, this is my last cure wounds. How are you?
I'm at 10.
I'm at half health. I'll be all right.
Ooh, I forgot to roll those checks for Ronnie.
Cure wounds.
Hey!
Oh,
Alright, that's a lot of dice.
Nice. All right.
What?
All right, Neela's loaded dice save you guys. Okay, so you guys heal up, and
I had 11 hit points then. I will not immediately die, probably, unless I get hit by a tag that has like super.
What do you
critical
got for
claws.
lay on hands left?
I was
Well.
at 18
Okay.
and just
Yes.
dropped.
I saw it. I was like,
Uh,
as
probably
soon as he said
fine,
the,
right?
As soon as he said the number, I was like, oh, exactly the number you had.
Alright. What are you guys doing?
I have one healing word in my pocket.
Up the stairs.
I
Up the
have,
stairs.
for the record, I have no more spells.
Fourth door on the right.
None. Zip.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
down to
I'm totally
cantrips.
out of normal spell slots. I have my one time once a
I
day.
have cast one spell.
Wait,
Point me in a direction.
Can we?
I have the fireworks.
Wait,
Can we
I'm
strap
gonna
you
go
into a
with an
shield
assault
and just
rifle
like?
and just
Well, let's see how many spell slots I have left. I
We
didn't
need,
realize
we
to
need, we
see
need
it.
a Kelton. We need to strap you to a shield, and we need to let this happen.
So you guys begin to climb the stairs, and about halfway up, there is a brief moment where a number of the stairs, like, kind of tremble and then, like, snap flat, turning the staircase into a slide. And just as you guys are like, ah, you hear from back behind you, from all the way, like, downstairs, you hear this, like, ah, scream from the doorman again, and the stairs, like, and snap back into position. You're able to, like, run the rest of the way up. Clear the staircase, you get up onto the third floor, and you're in another hallway, and it's dark. All the lamps are extinguished in this hallway. But it's more than that. As you look down the length, about 10 feet from where you emerged onto the hallway, the darkness grows inky and complete. And you can just see the edge of the first sets of doorways out of the gloom, and beyond that, nothing.
of course.
I'm going to cast Dancing Lights
Okay.
and try to send orbs. Three separate orbs, like,
Yep.
I'm going to try to keep, like, 10 feet apart, and then just kind of see how far.
You shoot them off down into the darkness. Am I correct? Dancing lights do not overpower like a darkness spell, right? I don't believe they do.
No, I think daylight cancels darkness, but that's it.
So you send them off, and as soon as they like pass that threshold where you see the first like set of door frames, they just disappear, and all illumination is gone that they were shedding.
Ooh. Okay.
Who's got a rope?
I got a rope.
All right. Let's make a line.
All right.
Everyone hold onto the rope. Feel around for doorknobs. Fourth door on the right.
Okay.
Who's first?
I'll go first.
All right, so Alar's first.
I'll
What's-
go second.
Go ahead and line yourselves up. You in marching order there, just so I know.
First. You said you're second?
Yep.
Third?
I will solidly be in the middle-ish.
No, you're gonna be second to the back.
That's the middle. It's not the front or the back.
Alrighty. Move that black box a little closer to me so that it shows up on the. There you go. Good. Alright, so Alar in the front, Nula, Kel, Brom, Walter. I assume Morgan's on your shoulder.
Yeah, she'll be.
And Scooter's
And-
on mine.
She's a raven, so it's not like she has dark vision.
And Ronnie bringing up the rear. So, put your hand on the right wall. Feel the first door frame. As you guys move forward, as you pass into that darkness, nothing. You can't see your own hand this far in front of your face if you're to look. You have the rope tied around you, keeping you together. And you begin very slowly to make your way down the hallway. Alar, go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Right. That's a 20, not natural.
Okay. You feel your way over surface of a door. Get to the edge of the first door. You start making your way down a blank, expansive hallway. You feel the lip of the second door. Brahm, as you guys make your way a few feet into this darkness, you're kind of following the gentle tug of the rope. You feel a hand on your shoulder. It squeezes and then slides off your shoulder and disappears. A moment later, another hand, your rib cage. Nula, similarly, you feel something bump into you. as if you had like walked into one of your companions on the rope, but you can feel the tension. You don't think they're close to you. Walter, you feel hot breath on the back of your neck, even though your hood is up.
I'm just gonna wake into the Morgan's senses and like see if she feels anything.
So you get a distinct sense of like fright from Morgan. Something is very much spooking the Raven in this hallway.
Excellent.
Alar, make another investigation check.
8 plus 8 is 16.
Okay. You move past that second door frame, you're feeling along the wall. As you're going, you feel the surface of the wall, but all of a sudden it's like damp and like sort of sticky. As you keep making your way, it's getting like progressively like goopier, as some sort of a thick like viscous liquid just like trails down over your hand. Brahm, you feel something try to reach into one of the pockets inside your coat. It sort of, you feel like something fish around for a minute and it disappears. Ronnie from the back of the room gives this, you kind of hear this like sharp intake of breath from her. Kel, for a moment, the tension on the rope is gone. And there's like this split second of like panic as you just like, it just feels like something has cut you from your party members. And then after a moment, it passes. You feel the rope again. Go ahead and make another investigation as you reach third door frame.
24.
Okay. You guys continue on, and the further you get, Alar, you're keeping your hand along that wall, and it's like, it's slimy, and then it's like hairy. It's just like all manner of disturbing, unpleasant sensations you feel as you're sliding around. You feel like what almost feels like tentacles, like kind of grasping out and just like sliding over your skin. The rest of you, these weird sensations in the dark, like bumping into unseen figures and hands reaching out of the darkness and grasping you, pulling on your clothes, pulling on your skin, your hair, your face. You're just getting like groped up by like unseen hands and like things that feel like tentacles, and you're feeling like breath, and every once in a while you hear kind of like a in the darkness. I need before he makes his last investigation, I need a wisdom saving throw from everybody.
I'm going to take Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
16.
Natural 20.
Oh, okay.
19.
Okay.
21.
Alrighty, and Ronnie gets a 16. So Newly, you were the only one to fail this. You are thoroughly spooked. You're gonna have disadvantage on ability checks for like the duration of the resolution of this event.
Yay.
Go ahead and make that last survival check for me.
That's only a 13.
Okay. You pass the third door frame. You're feeling along the wall, and as you go, you begin to feel this first, but based on the kind of what you can hear from your party behind you, they start to feel it as well. It starts getting a little difficult to keep moving forward, as if some sort of an invisible pressure is pushing back against you, and you're going, and for a brief, like, terrifying moment, your fingertips leave the wall just for a split second, and you quickly get your hand back on the wall again. You keep pressing forward, and from somewhere distant, muffled, you can hear still the sounds of the house as it creaks and protests, mingled in with enraged and set upon humanoid, I should say, voices. One that you think you recognize as the doorman. A few others that some of them sound like maybe they're female. You get the impression that as you're struggling and whatever this thing in the house is fighting you, the staff are fighting back, and after a moment the pressure eases up and you're able to move forward about another foot, and you feel the fourth door.
I found the door.
Oh, thank God.
Is it locked?
Are you going in?
Yeah, as soon as I get to the door handle, I'm gonna tug on it, see if it
You
opens.
turn it and it just
throw it open
swings
and
open.
do my best to drag everybody in.
Alrighty, so Alar opens the door, moves forward, and just pulls the rope to kind of lead you guys all in through. As soon as you pass over the threshold of the door frame, your vision clears. You look behind you, pitch blackness, but in front of you, you are standing in a comfortable-looking study. There is a cheery fireplace on one wall, and there is a wide array of shelves and tables and display cases in the room, all piled with various papers, books, oddities, relics, things that are part of Bolus's collection. Behind a large ornate desk sits a rotund halfling. He looks to be somewhere in his early 2nd century. He sits at the desk and he's looking for all the world like a cheery old grandfather. His clothes are well tailored and clean, and he smiles warmly at you, gesturing to 6 comfortable-looking chairs, which you don't remember having been there before he directed your attention towards them. "Sit," he says in a kindly tone.
Thanks.
"You've had a big day. You must be tired."
Thanks, I'll stand.
I'll pass.
He kind of looks as, "Suit yourselves." And as he says this, you notice the chairs are gone again. And you can't, your brain is having trouble parsing. You definitely didn't see them appear or disappear. You just noticed they're gone. But he continues to sit very placidly. He's just looking at you. And he says, "Well, haven't we had quite the adventure today?
That's a word for it, you old bag.
Well, we've made it this far. Let's have a conversation, shall we?"
Why don't we skip the niceties?
Release the occupants of the house, and you get to live.
Well, a tempting offer. I counter with this. You are still, for all intents and purposes, trapped here, in my domain. I will admit, you have proved, very troublesome. Very troublesome. Perhaps more than you're worth. But you must understand, I can't just release the inhabitants of this house, and this house itself, I need them. But I am willing to let you go.
Try again.
I'm gonna yell into the room.
Alar smirks.
Trollyweather, if you can hear me, we're here from Copper Kettle.
Okay. So you do that. You guys seem to be kind of, you're not picking up what he's putting down. You get no response, particularly. And the what you guys take to be the thing wearing the appearance of Bolus Trollyweather. He smiles at you and he says, "Oh, I'm afraid this is about the best offer that I can give you that allows everyone to walk out of here alive. Well, allows you to walk out of here alive." And suddenly on the counter there is a glass vial and a syringe, both filled with this like purple, vaguely glowing liquid. He says, "What I am offering is very generous. Simply inoculate yourself with this and you will be, let us call it, put out of sync with my version of reality. But no, I'm afraid I can't let the occupants of the house go, and certainly not the old halfling. A head full of stories and lore and fantasy. No, he's far too valuable a treasure for me to let go. No. I can spin webs for centuries with what's in his head. I'm afraid I need him. But I don't want to spend all my time battling you, so simply take the serum and we'll go our separate ways. No harm, no foul." He smiles at you.
ALR smirks. You're scared.
Go ahead and make a insight check.
Is the syringe already filled
Yes.
or is it an empty? Okay. And there's multiple syringes or just one?
Just one.
15.
Okay. You don't get the impression that he is particularly concerned about you.
How close is the vial? in the syringes?
No more than 10, 15 feet. So with a 15, I will say, he does not seem particularly worried. You get the impression that he seems pretty confident that he can kill you if he needs to. You do... you probably wouldn't even need the insight check for that. You do get the impression that he is 100% full of shit about this thing in the syringe.
I'm going to walk up to the desk. He's behind a desk.
Mm-hmm. He's behind a desk.
I'm going to pick up the syringe. Does anything happen when I do
No,
that?
you pick it up.
Okay.
He kind of like...
I'm going to look at it thoughtfully. And then I'm going to minor illusion just a horrible screaming bird in like the back corner of the room.
Okay.
And hopefully not distract him. I'm going to attempt to jab the syringe into his own face.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check versus his perception.
Yes, let's do that.
He doesn't roll super well.
I'm so glad someone did that.
I was like, how can I do this?
That's a 23.
Oh man! All right, well, let's
boom! Right in his eyeball.
give me a second here. I need to change the music.
Give me a second here. I need to realize how.
Give me a second.
screwed
You
you
ruined
are.
everything.
Yeah.
That wasn't in my notes.
He definitely planned for us
Okay.
stabbing him with this thing.
All right,
He's
so
definitely-
go ahead and roll me some initiative, because we're gonna handle this.
8.
19.
Also 19.
Kel and Walter.
You're probably sick. Just
11.
fun fact.
11.
See, we high five. It's like you're probably sick now. Just
What do you got
20.
on? 20.
Not enough. 20.
firebolt out the blast.
20. All right, I have all of yours. Yes. Ronnie.
I mean, I'm gonna unleash
Ronnie's a 10.
because I have a bunch of spells to burn.
Alrighty,
Now it's time to
and
go all in.
this guy, I need a different dice for him. Ooh, this guy does not roll super great. Okay. Alrighty, so you minor illusion. It's like a real messed up version of Morgan, just like
Yeah.
appears, and it's like and just for a moment, the eyes of this jolly looking halfling flick over to where you appeared the bird, and you take that as the opportunity to lunge forward, and you bury this syringe directly into the eye socket of this of this whatever
Push
this is.
down on the plunger.
Push the plunger in. So as it goes in, you definitely you feel it and the figure, like, he lurches back in his chair. He goes, "Ugh!" But as you go to, like, push the plunger, he, like, backs away, and it kind of comes out of your hand, still stuck in his eye. But a moment later, it, like, vanishes. And then what happens is out of the back of this jolly, overweight-looking gnome, just, like, dozens of these, like, writhing tendrils just, like, explode out of his back. He is, like, thrown backwards from his desk, and all of these tendrils, like, basically catch him and then lift the gnome body up. But a moment later, almost as if the gnome body was like a skin suit, it just, like, stretches and just tears. And what you now see standing across, or, like, standing is a loose term, as it's just this, like, writhing mass of these purpley pinkish, like, tendrils that all just are knotted and twisted and writhing together, up into the ceiling, some into the floor, kind of like supporting it midway between the floor and the ceiling. And it is time to fight. Brahm, you are the first to react after your surprise eye stabbing.
Okay. The syringe disappeared.
Syringe disappeared.
So I can't heat that back.
I screwed you on that one. Let's go ahead and take this away. Whoa. I've been sitting on my foot for a while. It's real asleep.
So that's...
Oh no! That's gonna be bad.
It's not
That's
that
ruined
bad.
everything.
Okay. Go ahead and you guys can put all your minis, like, on the space
So
there.
this is now middle. Oh, that is middle.
Nice.
And we're gonna use reverse beholder for Bolus Trollyweather.
Okay.
It's sort of gloopy.
So we're roughly in the same order, except that Braun has approached a desk.
Alright.
Yep. And there is a desk between him and the glooplops.
Hooray!
He's got to make a wisdom saving throw.
Alrighty.
He makes the wisdom saving.
He does not.
Haha! Alright, so that's Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
So he's going to take 3d6. 14 points of
Okay.
psychic damage.
Alright, so Brahm basically, like, plants his hands on the desk, and he's leans over intently, and you guys can kind of, like, from behind him, you can sort of, like, see his jaw moving and the vague sort of hiss of sound coming out of his mouth, but you can't hear the words that he's saying. But this massive tentacle is kind of like rolls and cringes back from him as he speaks to it.
And he's got to move as far away as he physically can.
He's like, he can't go anywhere. He's basically at the back of the room at this point.
Okay.
Alrighty. Kel and Walter, both of you guys are up next.
Well, I'm gonna...
Well, I'm also I'm gonna take a few steps back. Just
Okay.
so I'm not in his face now.
You get him.
All right, I did everything.
I pissed them off.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn.
Whip out the shovel.
Shovel.
Bonus action shillelagh.
Okay.
I don't think I have to make a attack with it now. Yeah, just for so bonus action shillelagh, and I can use it to do this nonsense, but
Yep.
I'm going to just Eldritch Blast it in the face.
Okay.
Former face.
Former face. Yeah, there's still, like, sort of a vaguely, like, gnome-shaped clump in the middle of this thing.
Whichever
Kind
one
of aim
doesn't
for
have
that.
like the syringe damage to it.
It's
All right. Well, that's one is a 22.
Yep.
And one is a 9.
the 9 will not hit. The 22 will. Go ahead and roll damage.
8 points of force.
Alrighty.
Magical force.
Alright, so this Eldritch Blast, like, and just sort of slams into the fleshy outer
Miscellany.
gloop of it.
That's a lot of d20s.
It is.
Alright.
We are going to cast a third level empowered
Do it up. So,
Scorching Ray.
The orbital strike is about to come from Kel.
The lowest is a 12.
The 12 won't hit.
Then 17.
That will.
Okay.
So 3 will hit. Right? 4 total?
3 will hit.
So yeah, 3 will hit.
Reroll this one.
There's a lot of sixes in there.
Last time. Okay. That's 15, 21, 27 points of fire damage.
Woo! All right. So Kel just steps forward, and these mortars of fire shoot off of him.
I put on my goggles.
I'm glad I stepped back because I would have no hair left on my body.
Like
Eye protection.
I feel like we did it at the same time. It's like one shot, and it's like.
And Kel charges up, and these beams of fire just barrel into this thing, and you see like bundles of these tendrils are like snapping and burning away as the tension releases. And there's these kind of like big charred spots where Kel hit it. But it is still an imposing figure at the other side of this room here.
For a bonus action, I am going to spend some sorcery points and get a 3rd level spell back.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Cool. Alrighty. Alar, you are up.
Brom, can you heat metal?
Yep.
Good. I'm gonna fling a dagger.
Alrighty. Will hit.
It's my last
16.
16 will hit.
2nd level spell, but yes.
Combo attack.
Takes 7 points of piercing damage.
Okay. So that dagger buries into the between two bundles of tendrils and is inside it.
Throw the rapier.
Alrighty.
Now I'm gonna have to get close.
Speaking of getting close, Ronnie's gonna try and jump on top of the desk. Ronnie can't roll in the box. Oh, Ronnie. I'm gonna assume Ronnie's dexterity modifier is better than a 2, so she'll make it. She jumps on the desk and she's gonna take a couple of swings at this guy. One of which will hit. So she deals, not bad. 11 points of damage into this creature. Alrighty. Nula, you are up.
I will come up 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know you had a double dragon on the table.
And I will breath weapon.
Okay.
So dex of 13.
It rolls a 17. It has a -2 to dex, but that's still high enough to...
Wait.
It's gonna take half damage.
No, I was just making sure Dissonant Whispers didn't make it.
Disadvantage on its next attack, I believe.
Yeah. Just making sure I didn't give it, like...
So take half damage. How much damage is it?
That's 5. It's 1, so 3.
Okay. So 3 points of lightning damage.
Yes.
You see a bunch of the like bundles of tendrils kind of like contract and release, and it's its turn. So it's gonna have disadvantage against Ronnie for its first attack.
Protection?
You're too far away.
You have to stand next to her.
Next turn.
It does still miss. And then, because it doesn't have disadvantage anymore, 5 other tendrils at each of you as it attacks all of you at once.
Oh,
Nice.
great.
My nipples.
I've seen these guys in anime!
Alrighty, so Brahm. 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Nula.
Yep.
19.
To hit?
To hit.
Yep.
Okay. Kel gets hit.
I'm casting shield.
Okay. So it's a...
17.
So it will still hit even with
Okay.
shields. Walter definitely gets hit. And Alar gets crit. So, let's do this. Alright, so
We're all dead.
everybody gets hit, right?
Part
Yeah.
of house. Part of
So
house.
Nula, you are going to take 6 damage.
Six
Points of, 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Kel will take 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Walter will take
Fine.
11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Walter's asleep.
So Walter goes night-night. Brahm, you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And
Back to where I started.
Alar, you take 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Still up, just barely.
Alright. So this thing basically just like, and then all these tendrils just come out and just like thunk into you guys. That is its turn, which brings us back to Brahm. And you kind of hear there's sort of this sub-vocalized like
Cool. I'm gonna heat the metal of
Yup.
Alar's dagger.
It's embedded in it, so I'm not even gonna give it a save, so just do the damage.
Okay. It's been so long I don't remember exactly what it is. I think it's 3d6.
It's your what are you casting it at?
Second is as high as I can cast it, I believe. Let's see. That's 2d8.
Is that
Okay.
at second level is 2d8?
Yeah. Because it's a second level spell.
Yeah.
13 points of
Okay, nice.
fire.
So from within it, so like as it's been kind of writhing and moving around, this dagger has actually started to kind of like become enveloped in it a little bit, and then you see there's like kind of a glowing red spot and some like steam comes out of the interior of this thing's form as it there's a kind of a high pitched like right where it is. And that brings us to Kel and Walter. So Walter is night,
I
right?
failed a death save.
All right, Walter's got one failed save.
We're gonna run it back.
Alrighty.
That is 2 hits.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
That's a 6.
That's a 6, so keep that.
22 points of fire damage.
Woo!
Acceptable.
So you hit it, and like a big one of the big bundles that's like securing it to the ceiling, kind of like snaps off.
Wild magic goes up.
Oh! All right. Roll on the wild magic table.
This could go very poorly.
I will accept the
Come on, yeah, come on, unicorn.
Illusory butterflies and flower petals flutter in the air within 10 feet of me for the next minute.
Alrighty. So
There's
like,
butterflies over my corpse. Awesome.
another wave of fire lances out off of Cal, and then a moment later it's like so much of butterflies are kind of flapping around him.
Great.
But the creature, one of those big bundles, does like detach from the ceiling and go limp, and you hear it kind of like, I gave you a chance. And Alar, it is your turn. The house or the room around you is like beginning to rumble.
So, coughing up some blood. 10, 15, 20. Acrobatics check of a 15.
Yep, easy enough.
And casting Booming Blade and rolling a natural 20.
Nice! Alright, go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. And thankfully, because Ronnie's engaged, it's sneak attack.
Yep.
And I'll just double this. Oh, wait a minute. And that because of Booming Blade. Oh, that's pretty good. 12.
That's 6 all the way down.
No, not quite. 12, 20, 21, 24. Double. No.
700 points of piercing damage.
15, 40, 41 points of damage. Only one of which is thunder.
Okay, one thunder. Alright, so you just drive the rapier all like to the hilt, and you even like part of your hand gets like into the goop, and then you just pull it back out, and the creature gives this great like shuddering like noise, and then you hear the disembodied voice again say, "You will regret." And it is Ronnie's turn, who is going to rage at this point, I will say.
Seems like an appropriate.
She's going to take 2 attacks. She's going to attack recklessly, I think.
Cool.
Boy, howdy, Ronnie. Okay, she does manage to hit once. Alright, so she does 8 points of damage. Okay. And Nula, it is your turn. So Walter is unconscious on the ground behind you.
Yep.
This creature is flipping out
Alright.
in front of you.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
You can step this way.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, you
Alright.
can get up to him.
Lay on hands for 2.
All right.
Because I gotta make sure no one else
Walter,
goes down.
Nula, like, defibrillates you and you come
I live!
Anything else?
I live, I die,
I don't think I can attack
Okay.
this turn.
So Nula, as your turn ends, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw, please. What's your wisdom modifier?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Plus 2?
So it's a 22 total?
Wait, saving throw or?
Saving throw.
Yeah, plus 2.
Okay. Alright.
Wisdom throws.
You guys
Probably charisma and calm.
You guys watch Nula. Walter, you just like your eyes sort of open. And Nula like nods at you, and then she like blinks a second, and her eyes go a little unfocused, and she just passes out on top of you.
Great!
I was like, did you say on top of me?
Yeah.
I have a 400-pound dragonborn in heavy armor.
She's not like on you, but she's.
I live!
You can, yeah, she knocks you. She deals 3 points of damage, and you go unconscious again. No, she sort of passes out and goes unconscious. So it is the creature's
One of our
turn.
ones pokes your eye out.
So
Can't regret
it's gonna lash out against Ronnie and Alar.
Is it 2 points?
Yep.
Doesn't seem to be able to slam everybody again, at the very least. It crits Ronnie and it gets a 4 against Alar.
Okay, Ronnie can take it.
That's good. I only have 2 hit points, so yeah.
So she takes 15 points of damage, but she's raging, so she will take half damage on that. Okay.
Everything is fine.
She's still doing okay. You get missed. All right. Brahm, back to the top of the order. There's an unconscious Nula next to you. Walter is like...
Not much I can do anymore.
Keep that middle.
I literally
we're
like
gonna
woke up
do-
to watch her pass out. Right?
Yeah,
It's
pretty
like,
much.
oh good.
You woke up, everything's fine. She's just like,
Yep.
So that's 14 points of fire damage from the blades.
Ooh,
to him
okay.
there. You know what? This worked so well last time. We're gonna do another dissonant whispers.
Okay. Wisdom save?
Yeah.
Gets a 4. Fails.
Aha!
I can feel Alar just being upset that everybody else's magic is working except for his.
No, I mean,
The booming blade worked.
yeah.
13.
I finally hit something, and God, did I hit it.
Alrighty. 13 points of damage.
And not that he moved, but he would have to
Yeah.
go away from us.
Okay.
Is there room in this part of the room? Can he theoretically have to flee this way?
I mean, he could, but
He has to move as far away
wouldn't
from
make
me as
sense.
possible.
It doesn't make sense.
I guess.
He also has, as far as you can tell, unlimited range inside the room to just hit you anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Alrighty. So that was Brahm. Alright, Kel and Walter, you guys are up.
I'm going to try to shake Nula awake.
Okay, that will take your action.
That's fine.
Okay. So you sort of do that, but she seems unresponsive.
Alrighty.
One So, from where I'm at, how is everybody looking up front from my perspective? Like, how jacked up does Alar and
Ronnie looks pretty decent. Alar is
I'm caught
valiantly fighting, but does not look great.
I'm going to use my bonus action healing word to yell, it's my last one, and then heal you for something. It is 1d4 plus my spellcasting modifier.
Charisma.
Yeah, so it would be 5 points of healing.
Okay, I'll take it.
Some of your wounds close and you are healed. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay.
I'm like under a dragonborn.
What do you got?
second level Scorching Ray.
Hell
Howard.
yeah.
crit.
Nice.
17 and a 13.
Woo. Okay. The
believe that's
13 doesn't
two
hit. The other two will.
Alright. We're gonna reroll these.
We're also
That's
still
way
in the
better.
butterfly field, so
Okay.
you passed out in the butterfly field.
21, 27 points of fire damage.
Nice. Okay. So a second
no
one of
problem.
those anchors in the ceiling like breaks loose and
Was the
tumbles
27
down.
doubled from the crit?
I rolled extra dice.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm going to make an extra sorcery point.
Okay. All right, Alar, you're up. I'm
Uh,
feeling a little bit better.
Yep. Snap my fingers to conjure Scooter on top of Dula.
It doesn't take your action to conjure.
It
No.
does.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh, never
I
mind.
thought it
Then
did,
I
yeah.
don't. Okay. Then gonna try and stab and cast Booming Blade again. 21.
Yup, that hits.
Yeah, for the familiar, it's an action to dismiss to a pocket dimension or summon from one.
Oh, okay.
I thought it might be.
Oh wait, no, I had him out on my shoulder, so I send him off to
Okay.
go and try and nibble on Nula to wake her up.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, that's a natural 20, so
Whoa!
you take 2 whole points of damage.
Alright, so
Does that wake you?
it does not.
She is dying. No.
So Scooter bites Nula. Nula is
Okay.
unconscious.
Alright, so it takes 10, 11, 13, 14, and... yeah, that's so it takes 17 points,
Okay.
14 piercing, 3 thunder.
Okay. Cool. Alright, anything else?
That's it.
Alright, Ronnie's going to attack twice. It's 2 hits. He deals 5, 11. 23 points of damage from Ronnie. Alrighty. So you guys like feel the house itself is just like shaking. And again, even though you're like really hacking into this thing and just like throwing everything you got at, again you hear that like.
You should have taken a bargain!
I'm gonna turn off the music a minute because we're up to Nula's turn. So, Nula,
Yeah.
you become vaguely aware that you are lying on the ground. The sounds of your group fighting this creature, the sounds of the house shaking and rattling, are gone. It's quiet. You notice even that the various injuries that you've sustained in your trip through this house, they don't seem to be hurting you. You actually feel okay. However, you try to move, you try to sit up, you feel very heavy. Your eyes, you try to open your eyes and your eyelids seem to fight you. It's almost as if you're coming out of a heavy sedation. Your body tries to slip back into unconsciousness, but you force yourself to keep your wits about you. Though your eyes are still closed, you get that sort of subconscious kind of tingle in the back of your neck that tells you like somebody's in your personal space.
Mm-hmm.
Without having to see anything, with your eyes closed, you become aware that somebody is near you. And finally, you manage to force your eyes open, and your vision is bleary. It's kind of like when you wake up first thing in the morning and like bright sunlight hits you, and your eyes are fuzzy and you can't really see anything. But it begins to clear, and from what you can tell, you are in a featureless white void. There seems to be no boundary to this space, no walls, no ceiling, no floor, except for the fact that you feel like you're laying on something. There is gravity from what you can tell. A dark shape leans into your field of view. The size and outline suggest that it is a person. You feel like they are somebody is maybe kneeling down next to you and leaning over your form. A few more seconds pass, and as your vision finally comes into focus, you can see. figure is female. She wears a simple white cotton dress with cuff sleeves. Your gaze moves upward. You take in her appearance. The angle of the jaw, the frame of the face, they're different. Time has stripped away the soft lines of childhood and replaced them with the graceful curves of maturity. But the hair, that's when you're certain. The hair. It's cut in a short bob style, but it is an unmistakable shade of red. A smile crinkles the corner of her eyes, and a long, thin scar over one eye creases as she speaks.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Nula, says Corey. And that, I think, is where we're going to take our break, as it is 9 o'clock. Thank you guys for sticking with us so far. We're going to take a quick break so that I can let these guys pee, and then we have about an hour left in our show. So bear with us for about 5 minutes while everybody refills their drinks, uses the bathroom, everything like that. And we'll be right back. Please enjoy a word which I hope works from our delicious, delicious sponsors. Hello, Internet. Welcome back. How's that look? Did I get a good...
Yes. I can be anywhere on this chair. Adam can be anywhere on his chair.
Cool.
We framed it correctly.
Welcome back, beloved viewers.
You guys.
Oh, it's so sad right now. So, let us return. Thank you to our sponsors, Marble Moon Studio and the 8th House, as well as Little Dragon Corp. I hope you guys enjoyed our sweet video. I have to update that. I feel like I want to make like a new and better one since we've been running that one for a couple weeks. Also, please do hunt down the Tabletop Legend, not the Tabletop Legends, the Proficiency Bonus Discord server, and find Para on there, and tell them that you want to give all of your money. Just say, take my money and give me all of the art. I've been sending some messages back and forth. They're doing their shift at the tattoo place that they work currently, so they were not able to send me like Instagram handles and things like that. But we will try and get that, and we'll shout that out there. We definitely want you guys to go look them up because they're awesome and we love them. And they did my character portrait for my Monday, my new character for my Monday campaign, and she is beauty, she is grace, and I love her. So yeah. Anyway. Let us jump back into it. We pick up right where we left off. Hey, Nula, says Corey. She leans over you.
Hi.
She kind of laughs. She says, so, you've had an interesting day, huh?
Yeah, I guess I got hit harder than I thought. Where? How are you here? Where are we?
She kind of thinks. She says, that's sort of a complicated question. Before you ask, you're not dead.
Oh.
Yet. But we don't have a whole lot of time, so I can't get into too much detail. Just the short version is whatever that thing is that you're fighting, well, whatever it's doing, I was able to, I guess, follow its path back to make contact with you.
Wait, are you here? Are you here now? In this house?
No. I'm not.
Where are you?
Not in a physical sense. And she kind of smiles again. She says, again, that's sort of a complicated answer.
Wherever you are, I'll come to you. Where are you?
She nods. She kind of like, she reaches out and she puts a hand sort of on your shoulder. She says, I know, Nula. She says, listen, we don't have a lot of time, and this, what I'm doing right now, talking to you like this, it's, well, I'm not supposed to be. It's dangerous, but we're running out of time. Nula, I know you've been looking for me all these years, and... well, I've been closer than you can possibly know. And I promise that the time is coming that you will find me, and we will see each other again, but you've got to be patient. Just for a little while longer. In the meantime, and at this she pauses, and she seems to be thinking very carefully on her words. She almost seems a little lost, and then she smiles and she kind of laughs again, moving the hand from your shoulder kind of to like your forearm, and she says, I had this whole thing planned out, but seeing you again and talking to you after all this time, I'm a little giddy. I kind of forgot everything I was going to say. Okay, hang on. She takes a deep breath.
Can I hug her?
You actually, yeah, you can try. So you sort of, you go to start sitting up and to reach up, and you get your arms kind of around her and sort of a hug, but you get very dizzy all of a sudden. Your head sort of like swims, and she very gently like kind of puts you back on the ground. She says, it's better if you just stay still. I can't hold this for long anyway, and the more you try to move around, the harder it'll be. Just hold tight and listen. And she pauses again for a second, kind of collecting her thoughts, and she says, okay, I need you to trust me when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
There are things happening. Big things. Things that I can't explain to you yet. But you need to know. Something is coming. And when it gets here, things are going to get bad. Unless something is done, Nula, they're going to get all the way bad. Permanently. She seems frustrated, and she says, I don't expect any of this to make sense. I can't explain it yet, but you and your friends, Brahm, Walter, Alar, especially Kel, Nula, especially Kel. You're the heart, Nula. The disembodied voice of Brahm.
You need to kill them all.
She says, Nula, you're the heart. You have to help them. You have to keep them together. Protect each other. You have to be ready. And at that, her eyes kind of go distant. They lose focus on you for a second, as if she's looking at something far away. And after a moment, she looks back at you and she smiles again. And she says, okay, we're just about out of time.
I thought you were going to be mad at me. I thought you wouldn't want to talk to me ever again.
She grins. She says, no, Nula. More than you can possibly understand right now. I'm not mad at you. Everything that's happened, everything that will happen. She pauses. She says, I'm not mad at you, Nula. I couldn't be. And you see the white void is beginning to dim. I'm kind of losing focus again. She goes a little blurry. But as things start to fade, she leans down and she gives you a kiss right on your forehead. And she says...
And you die.
Yeah, and you die. She says, all right, I'm out of time. When you wake up, you'll be free of the influence of whatever that thing is for just a minute. It's as long as I can give you. Kill it. She stands up, rises to her feet, and kind of backs away from you as everything begins to go dim. And the last thing you hear before the blackness, she says, as if from far, far away, she says, keep the group together, Nula. You have to be ready. They're going to try again soon. And then she's gone. And everything is dark. and it's quiet. And you open your eyes, and you're not in the white void anymore. You're in the study of Bolus Trollyweather. But as you kind of sit up and look around, it's not the way you left it a moment ago. Your friends are there. Brom, Alar, Walter, and Ronnie, Kel. They are standing kind of between the door and the desk, their arms at their sides. They are all looking sort of into the middle distance. And you can see their hands kind of move and twitch, and their mouths move a little bit as if they're kind of lost in another world. And across from them, on the far side of the desk, you see a figure. It is like some of the other ones you had seen. It is mostly engulfed in this cocoon of pinkish, fleshy colored, partially crispy, partially goopy, chrysalis material. And you can see a head kind of poking out of it, exposed. It is, you're pretty sure, Bolus Trollyweather. But he does not look like the Bolus Trollyweather that you were shown previously. He's not rotund and jolly. He is emaciated and thin, and his skin is waxy and sallow. His eyes are sunken. His hair and his beard have grown long and ragged. And atop this chrysalis structure right near his head is something that has no distinct shape that you can tell. It's about yay big. It has what could be legs, could be tentacles, could be, you're not really sure, but it's kind of poised above Bolus Trollyweather's head. And you see almost like a proboscis extending from it right between Bolus Trollyweather's eyes. But it's not physical as you look at it. It almost seems to be, it's like semi-translucent and made of this like kind of glistening light as it pierces into him. And that's the scene that you see before you. What are you doing?
I am going to grab my warhammer and just charge and hit whatever that bolus is.
Make a strength check for me.
Does she still have disadvantage on those?
Let's say no.
50.
Okay. You pick up your warhammer and you take one step towards this thing, and you are slammed with an invisible wall of force that just pushes back against you. And you strain, trying to push towards it, but some force of psychic energy of some sort is holding you back, and you can't force yourself closer as you struggle against it. And at that point, we'll turn our music back on, and we will move off of Nula's very long turn to the next in the order, which is back in the Imaginarium of Bolus Trollyweather. You all, with Nula's unconscious body, still fighting this creature as it lashes out and attacks. And let's just see. Okay. It lashes out and attacks Alar and Ronnie again. Double 14s, which will definitely hit her. And what's your... It'll hit you?
14 is the mark.
Okay, it's got
I
a
should have
plus.
done this last time. Uncanny dodge.
Alrighty, uncanny dodge. So, Alar, you take 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and you can have that for your dodge. And Ronnie takes 9 points also, but also halved because she's...
I feel like you really needed that 5 points healing I just
yes.
gave you.
No, that was that made all the difference.
Alrighty. Top of the order. Brom, you are up.
Uh, 11 points of
Alrighty.
fire damage from that. And I'm going to Bardic Inspiration Ronnie.
Okay. I will mark that down for her. Brom, as you fire your fire damage into this thing, the room around you is starting to get that same crazy Technicolor flickering. All the walls are changing colors. You see the books are like falling off of the shelves and then like multiplying a bunch and then like going back into position. Everything around you seems to like to be going haywire. And Kel and Walter, you guys are up. The unconscious Nula is still on top of you, Walter.
Can I like get my hands free enough to just like
Sure.
finger guns blast?
Yeah.
They'll just blast?
Yeah.
Alright, well that's gonna happen. Is there anything you want to? You're gonna scorch it right here, aren't you?
Fourth verse, same as the first.
Alright. Like I don't. Alright, one of them definitely hits.
Okay.
One definitely doesn't.
Okay.
So 5 and a 17 without the modifier.
The 5 doesn't hit, the 17 will.
I mean it's 11 and a.
The 11 will not.
Alright, we are going to 7 points as I just kind of like reach out for a null and just like fire off
Alrighty.
The low is a 17.
Both will hit then.
And one is a crit.
Okay.
What is worth re-rolling? Those are worth re-rolling, and that's the number that I can re-roll. That is the same thing.
That's one more.
7, 10, 24.
Okay,
with the
so
fire
Kel,
damage.
your fire lances into this thing, and as it strikes it, the whole room just goes like, and like 3 dozen of those like shadowy dancer figures that Brahm and Walter fought, like briefly like boom, flicker into appearance, and the room is just like packed with bodies for like a half a second, and then they fizzle out of existence. And there is a brief second where everybody can make me a perception check.
Including me?
Not you.
18.
Okay.
Also 18.
Okay.
Flat 12.
16.
Alright, so everybody but Walter, which makes sense because you're flat on your back under Nula's body. But for a brief second, there's a flicker, and you guys see, like, the room kind of, shifts slightly, and for a half a second, you see unconscious Nula on the floor next to you, but you see another Nula, sort of at the corner of the desk, like, muscles bulging and straining in her neck as she is, like, forcing her way, trying to step towards... It's a little hard to see because it's, like, overlaid over top of the big tentacle creature, but some sort of a thing behind the desk, and then you lose sight of it again, and you're back in this room fighting this creature. And Alard, is your turn.
I have to check for wild magic.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
Check wild magic? Yes.
As you're skitching out of existence.
Something useful this time?
Fireball.
For the next minute, any flammable object I touch that isn't being worn or carried by another creature bursts into fire.
Okay.
Touch him.
All right. So you kind of cast your firebolt out, and then you're like, whew, and you pull your hands back, and you notice they're still on fire. And you're like, ah, whoo, ah. He's like waving fire hands around. And you've got that going on. Ronnie is just going to keep wailing on this creature. Oh yeah, you got to go.
15 hit?
15 does hit, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Scooter to run up and bite something, and he's gonna miss.
Okay.
Alright. Okay, that is a 6. So 10. 11 plus 10.
Seems like a program.
24. 3 points of it is
Okay.
Sonic.
Alrighty. So again, your blade goes in, and again, the whole room goes haywire. You don't see the other Nula a second time, but half a displacer beast morphs its way out of a bookshelf next to you, and it just freezes, and the doorway through which you came in starts to rotate and spin spin the wood of the door, like looking like goopy and liquidy, as if it's like a wet paint going down a drain. And this creature begins to like flail. But it is no longer taunting you, and you distinctly like get the impression that its attention is like kind of not fully on you guys anymore.
As I'm pulling the blade out, you really should have taken the deal.
Alrighty, and so Ronnie will take 2 attacks. She misses on both of hers. So Nula, it is your turn. So back, your friends, you kind of see them sort of moving.
Is Kel's hands on fire?
Are Kel's hands on fire? Let's say no.
Okay. Did I make any progress moving
So
forward?
you're gonna make another strength check.
Okay. 18.
Okay. So you feel this thing pushing against you, and it is stronger than you. But as you see kind of your friends continue to like twitch and struggle, similar to like the experience that they're having, you get this sensation that like this thing's attention is being divided, and whatever your friends are doing inside this thing's kooky madhouse reality that it's built around them, they are it's spreading itself too thin, and you feel its focus waver, and you manage to step about halfway between, like you make about half the distance.
Okay.
As it kind of like its attention lapses, the pressure releases on you, and you surge forward several feet before it like refocuses, and the pressure like slams into you again, and you're back to like forcing against it. It's trying to shove you away, and you're trying to move forward. And that brings us to its turn.
Can I throw a javelin at it?
Sure, you can certainly make an attack with a javelin.
I think I can make 2. Or I only have 1 javelin.
You only have one javelin.
16.
So you kind of like, and you let it go, and it just sort of like stops in the air and just falls to the ground.
This is an intent.
Alright, so it's going to take 2 attacks against Ronnie and Alar. It crits Ronnie, and it gets a natural 17 against Alar.
Okay.
Alrighty. She takes 9.
You're saying that to Aylar or to yourself?
Yes.
Check for wild magic? Yes. The answer is always just yes.
Uncanny dodge.
Okay, Ronnie's okay. Starting to look a little worse for wear. You take 8, so you'll take 4 damage.
Yeah, still too much. Down I go.
Okay, so Alar collapses onto the top of the desk. Alright, Brahm, you are up.
Uh, 11 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Just slowly chipping away. Is there anything left I can do? I think I have 1. Yeah. I'm going to attempt to hideous laughter.
Okay. It fails.
Okay.
It can't fall prone, but it can start laughing.
Okay. Cool. That's all.
Okay.
Jello Jiggler.
Kel and Walter.
I am going to send her over to the now unconscious
Alar, and I'm going to use its reaction to pump Spare the Dying through it.
Okay. So you stabilize.
So you are
Thank you.
stabilized with 0.
Alrighty. Kel?
So I forget how hideous laughter works. Am I supposed to not hit it now?
I believe it does get a save if it is struck again. If it takes damage.
So it's a bad
At the end of its turn, and each time it takes damage, the target can make another wisdom saving throw.
If you do something that does 1 chunk of damage instead of multiple damages, it just gets to make a save.
Alright. I'm going to throw caution to the wind.
Okay.
I'm going to use a first level spell to make a sorcery point. And I'm going to hold an action
Okay.
to use 3rd level, empowered, scorching ray, after its turn.
After its turn. Okay.
I will no longer have counterspell up.
Alrighty.
Well, it's probably
Alar, so you're stable, you're unconscious. Alright, Ronnie
I
will
said,
take
caution to the wind.
Yeah.
2 attacks. Ronnie will miss 1.
Roundabout
She
way.
will hit the
Doing
other.
damage is also
Does
healing.
the familiar fade out when you go unconscious?
No.
Oh, okay.
Familiar's an entity unto itself.
Okay,
damage
then
is
it will
also-
try and bite.
Potentially a counterspell.
You have no control over it, though.
Oh, that's right. Then
Ronnie does 24 damage. And what's your spell save?
14.
Okay. So it does fail. Ooh, it does fail its saving throw. And that brings us Nula. It is your turn. Go ahead and make a strength check.
21.
Okay. You see, the creature is like very tense in its kind of position here, and then a moment later, it's sort of like it begins to like. It's not making any noise, but it's really like making a real weird motion.
You're welcome.
You think maybe it's laughing, and for another moment, the pressure is released as its attention is drawn away from you, and you are able to get into striking range.
You're welcome.
17 for first attack,
17 will hit.
14 for the second attack.
Both will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
It's the best thing I could have done right there.
That's 6 for one, and 11 for the other.
Okay. So.
It explodes.
That's too creepy. It's too intense. We need different music. We will go to proficiency music. You step forward and you bring your hammer down at an angle so as not to hit Bolus Trollyweather in the dome. And you just smash this creature. The force of your strike drives it off of the form of Bolus Trollyweather into the ground. You follow it through, and you just drive the hammer and the creature into the floor, and it splats underneath your hammer. And as the creature dies, the pocket reality, the strange whatever this was creating, seems to start to unweave and dissolve. You guys all, the vision of this giant monstrosity before you disappears, and you see sitting in its place this cocoon with this emaciated halfling sticking out of it, with Nula next to it, her warhammer driven into the ground, a greasy splorch on the floor underneath her. And the threads of this thing's influence, you see it become visible, and they are spread through the very bones of the house. Every floorboard, every door, every window, every piece of furniture, every book on every shelf, every lamp, every curio, they were all laced with this endless network of hyphae-like filaments. And they begin to break down, and brilliant flashes of color, like neurons firing, just shoot off randomly through them. You see, similar to when you were fighting it and it was being drawn too thin, these strange semi-formed constructs and contortions of reality appearing and flickering and disappearing in this thing's death throes. And as the altered reality created by the creature falls away, you begin to see the house in its true state. It has been devastated. The permeation of this creature's influence has left everything in the house utterly ruined. The books on the shelves are crumbling and moldering. The furniture is destroyed, splintered, and falling apart. The walls and floors and ceilings themselves seem damaged. The structural integrity of this entire building comes into question for you immediately. You see the form of Bolus Trollyweather. He is slumped in his chair behind his decrepit desk. Though he is pretty solidly engulfed in this stuff, which is no longer glowing, but is now just a dull, sort of fleshy color. You see what Nula saw. He is no longer the overweight, jolly figure the creature disguised itself as, and Colin Copperkettle described him to you as. He is emaciated, and his clothes, from what you can see, they're hanging off of his form. He is, however, breathing very shallowly. He is still alive. In front of him on the desk is the one thing that you see in this room that does not appear to be destroyed. It is a large, ancient-looking book sitting on a stand on the desk in front of him. He is in his chair, weakly gesturing with one finger. It seems all the motion that he can muster between being partially cocooned and being as weak as he can. He seems to be urging you to close the book.
Can I go?
I'm gonna mage hand and just
You slam the book shut, and you see him like a flicker of relief across his face, and he sinks into unconsciousness. What were you saying?
You did what I was gonna do. Do I notice Alar is down?
Yes, he is laying on the ground unconscious.
I will go over to him. 2 points of lay on hands.
Okay. So you come back to consciousness in like a completely different scene than what you passed out in.
You guys have a victory party without me?
There's time for questions later. We gotta get people out of the house.
And can I go to Copper and do the same, like 2 points?
So you give him a little bit of healing. His breathing comes a little more steadily, but you get the impression he's not physically wounded so much as he is just like
Emaciated,
devastatingly malnourished, and in poor physical condition. You
Still
don't
those pies.
you don't get the impression he is like immediate in the next 2 seconds danger of dying, though, after you kind of like pump a little bit of vitality into him.
Can I look around for evidence of Corey?
Yeah, you can sort of search around the room.
Well,
I mean, I won't make you make an investigation check. You don't find anything, but you guys do see Nula kind of like frantically like looking around the room, like turning over destroyed furniture. And
She's
stuff
right.
like
We have to find the rest of them.
What you looking for there, champ?
Okay, I'm gonna grab a spirit belt from my pack. I'm gonna tie the book shut, and then I'm gonna step in the pack.
Someone grab him.
I am going to.
The rest of us need to go find more people.
Yep. I'm gonna make a floating disc.
Yep.
And it's gonna take me like 10 minutes. But after that, we are good to transport people in a way that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, you got him. We'll go find more
Okay. 3 of us.
All right.
Wait, you with us?
people. We need the people who are capable of carrying the people that we find.
Yeah,
you,
come on.
you, and Ronnie.
All right, come on.
Alright, so I'm gonna take Ritual out.
I will follow, but I'm not saying anything.
Okay. All right, so you guys go ahead. I'm not going to make you do any checks, really. You've sort of seen the layout of the house. You know where you have been. It doesn't take you too terribly long. I guess I'll put the question to you. How are you conducting your search? Are you going like top to bottom, room by room? Are you going to like the places you've been?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the music room to see if that lady is still there.
I'm gonna go systematic, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
start
follow
opening
you.
doors.
So we'll say it probably takes you the better part of an hour if you do it that way. You search every room in the house. What you find is that the house has been destroyed. His library, his collection of artifacts, his relics, all of his possessions, everything is ruined. You find a young-ish, maybe late teens, 18, 19, human girl in the music room. In the kitchens, you find an older sort of portly woman who you had recognized, and she's no longer giant. She's now a normal-sized woman. In the remains of the library, you find a kind of a small sort of mousy-looking man. The gardener, Lewis Finch, is where you left him in the basement. And at the front door, you find the doorman. The 5 people plus Bolus are the only people that you find anywhere in the house. you check every room, every nook and cranny. You don't see anybody else in there. You do manage to kind of stir the doorman awake a little bit, and he confirms that like the people that you have found is the entire staff.
All right.
So it takes you a little while. The house is like groaning disconcertingly every once in a while, but you manage to kind of gather everybody up, and you're able to get everybody outside.
Trollyweather is probably the only person that can fit on the disc.
We can do that in trips.
Yeah, I'm gonna break out.
The three of us can carry
carry
people.
You can easily carry people.
Yeah, I'm gonna break out the blanket that's in my pack, throw it around these people because chances are they're
So
all starving.
they are actually not in as bad condition as Trollyweather is. So whereas he seems like he was being like sucked dry, they actually seem to be in decent physical condition at least. For the brief periods that he is conscious, it is clear that Lewis Finch is quite insane. Cool. The others are in various states of like ranging from kind of holding it together to what you take to be like shock. But in terms of their physical condition, they don't actually seem like they have been starved for months and months the way it looks like Trollyweather was. And you eventually so as you're kind of getting everybody outside, the house itself, the house proper, is like in ruins basically. The guest house, the servants' quarters rather, the servants' house is like cobwebby and abandoned as you had found it, but is in fine condition, is in the same condition that you had found it in.
All right,
when you arrived.
Let's move them in there.
Is that hole that I tried to pop out in the yard still there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Then we'll treat them for a bit.
We really should get Trollyweather back to town to find a doctor or some sort.
Let's get them set up here and see if we can bring a doctor to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
sense.
definitely get the. I mean, well, with your Tensor's disc, you might be able to move them, but like without a cart and stuff, you don't get the impression that the several mile trip back into town is really within these people's.
Yeah, no, I would be Tensors disking them, but that would take a while. So,
all right. Who's the least beat up of us?
Probably me.
All right.
Ronnie's in okay shape as well. I would say she kind of volunteered to run off.
Okay. Go find a healer. Tell them that they're desperately needed here. Gonna fish out a few coins and get some bread, some cheese, some meat.
Sending Ronnie on.
You're sending Ronnie to go get tasty food. It seems like a terrible plan.
She's like, okay. She's like, I'll be fast. I'll run the whole way, and she takes the kind of coin and just books it.
Never to be seen again.
Never to be seen again. That's right, and that's the last time Ronnie appears in the show. No, it is. It appears to be like early.
Hey, my wallet's gone.
Early morning-ish when you guys get out of the house. So you're a little unsure on how long you might have been in there, but it seems like it was at least like the entirety of the afternoon and night from when you came in there.
All right.
While we're all outside, I'm just going to group hug and cry.
Okay.
With
Nula
no context.
just gathers you guys all in.
I'm just gonna.
Morgan takes a wing and pats her on the head with it. He's like,
all right. So who else wants to eat their feelings? Because these pies are actually fine. We didn't fall on them.
you've had pies this whole time?
We brought them for Bolus.
Okay.
That's
maybe we're
he
going
can
to
be revived
once he
with
comes
pies.
to, we're going to give him one.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of tempted to see if there's anything we're salvaging in there.
Didn't look like it.
There's going to be plenty of time for that later. It's not going
Anytime
anywhere.
anyone tries to leave the circle, I just
Okay. I get it. Okay.
Just like a paladin thing. What is this?
Easy there, champ. It's okay.
All right, so basically what we'll do here for the sake of narrative cohesion, by like a little after midday, Ronnie returns with a basic set of like provisions, food, and things, as well as a slightly befuddled town doctor, who you easily enough kind of like show him to the folks, and he just sort of gets to work.
I like to think that she didn't tell him what was going on. She was just like, grabbed him and grabbed him.
You get the impression that it's more that like she did, but it was like it was
too much.
so accurate as to what actually happened that it just like was unbelievable and didn't make any sense. But she does seem to have gotten the point across that there were some very like malnourished and potentially traumatized folks.
Does he recognize any of them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
He knows the whole lot.
Okay.
So over the course of that day, he sets everybody sort of to rest. Lewis Finch ends up having to be sedated essentially. He is in decent physical condition, as he had been. You kind of get the impression that he was, whereas like it looked kind of like the others were currently being like plugged into like batteries for whatever this thing was doing. He was sort of like the rat in the maze before you guys got there. So physically he's in the best shape, but he's like deranged. And after several like outbursts of paranoia and like bordering on violence, the doctor essentially sedates him, and he is like restrained to one of the beds in the servants' quarters. Bolus Trollyweather does come to after several hours. He is in poor shape, and so you learn a couple of things. So the cook's name is Hattie Corbin. The maid is her daughter, Laura Corbin. The doorman is a man by the name of Martin Kelder, and the butler is a man by the name of Gerald Fielding. They more or less kind of come to, and you get a chance to sort of talk to them a little bit before Bolus. And from them, you glean the following information. None of them really know exactly what happened, except that Bolus got this book. That's what Bolus does. He's a collector of antiquities. He got his hands on this. It was they know it was a very old book, and he was interested. They do know he mentioned that he thought it might have some aid for his friend, Colin. Gerald Fielding, the butler, is the one who had delivered the original letter into town to be sent off to Colin. And then late one night, as they were kind of going about their business, in the house, and Bolus was in his study, the house started behaving oddly. It was like kind of subtle at first, strange like chairs moving of their own accord, and they turn around and like one of the suits of armor would be in like a different position. Eventually they found that they couldn't get out of the house. None of the doors and windows would open. Their attempts to like break them were unsuccessful, and it just ramped up from there until it turned into like this madhouse. And essentially what they tell you is that the house like took turns, like letting one of them free essentially to like run around the house and be like tormented by this like the same crazy stuff that it put you through. Besides the details of their ordeal, you get the sense they are all very concerned for Bolus's well-being. He is dearly beloved to his staff, and they are, they're heartbroken over the destruction of his home and his like life's work of his collection. Eventually, Bolus does come to. The first thing that he asks is about his staff, if they're all okay. Once informed that they are, he seems greatly relieved. He's upset to hear about like his house and his belongings are like ruined. But once the news of the state of Lewis Finch kind of reaches him, that just like that goes out of his mind, and he insists, even in his weakened state, he insists on like being put in the room with the groundskeeper. Which I'll say that's where we'll pick up if you guys want to have a conversation with him. The sedated Lewis Finch in the bed, Bolus in sort of like an armchair that has been pushed over near the bed. There's a little tray with like some tea and very light fair foods. He's in bad shape, so that the doctor has given strict orders that like what he intakes has to be regulated very carefully.
Not to worry, we've got an excellent with us.
So he looks to you all and he says, "So, as I understand it, you came at Colin's request?"
We did.
He nods. He says, "Well, we all owe you our lives. That's for damn certain." He kind of looks to the gardener. He says, "Damns, all of the hills."
The book. It's the only. It did survive the devastation that whatever it is did.
He says, "It would. Well, you should take it to Colin and his friends.
We were going to ask.
Let them destroy it. Don't open it."
Not to worry. I've got it strapped tightly.
He nods. And he says, Well, any information that you can give to the collective, to Colin and Dimios and Namara, will hopefully help them in destroying the thing, but I'm afraid I can't give you much. I don't know that much myself.
Did the thing communicate with you?
This is in a way. So the book, I acquired it through a contact of mine who lets me know when he finds interesting things on digs. It came out of a ruin right on the Honorand Empire border. He sent it along to me, and when I got a look at it, it was in Varian writing, and it talked about having something to do with manipulation of thought and the mind. And of course, I instantly thought of my friend Colin. I always keep an eye out on anything that seems relevant to his unfortunate condition. I try to keep him aware of, but here's the thing. As I was looking through the text, there is an excerpt inside it that was copied from something else. The dialect is older. You see, I am a bit of an expert on these things, if I do say so. And he pauses for a moment, and he says, "It was older. Much older. Pre-Invarian older."
Before the Empire.
He kind of nods gravely. He says, "Pre-Invarian civilization is the stuff of myth and legend, but I'd bet every last copper to my name that the inscription in that book is just that."
I'll be damned.
He says, "Whatever this creature was, I can only hypothesize, but from what I can gather from what was in the book, it was not of our realm, not of our plane of existence. It comes from, I don't know how best to describe it, a plane where pure thought and logic reign supreme. I think I can't do more than guess. But while it was made up entirely of intellect, I think it lacked the ability to conceive of what was outside, what was real. It had no imagination. I think that's why it needed my staff, myself. I think it was using us to fuel whatever it was doing. Using our minds, our psychic energies. I don't know what to call them, but it was weaving its webs using our psychic energy. If that makes sense. I know it doesn't, but that's the best that I can figure. I don't know why.
When we confronted it, it said, I want to keep you especially because of all the lore that you've read, and all the stories you've developed.
I have done a great deal of reading in my day.
So, maybe it feeds upon memory?
I don't know. But what I do think is true. I think, from what I saw, perhaps I've gone crazy from my ordeal, but I think just reading the detailed account of it, putting it in my mind as I did, called it into this reality, or made it real. No one should open that book again, and the collective should destroy it if at all possible. It is dangerous. Of that I am certain.
In your travels to obtain the book and research collections, did you ever come and work with or come in contact a woman named Corey?
I'm sure I've known a Corey or two in my day.
Red hair, scar over her eye.
I don't know that rings a bell, dear.
Okay.
While we're here, do you want us to try and make a survey of the house, see if there's anything that might be salvageable?
He kind of... If you wish to look, I won't stop you, but if the house is dangerous, perhaps it is better left for professionals to come in. I'll need to rebuild.
I think it would be best if we perhaps waited until tomorrow.
Well, I'm not
But
suggesting today.
We should certainly do a sweep before we leave to make sure there's nothing untoward left for
Of course.
whatever help you're bringing in.
If you think that is best, that I will trust your judgment. And you guys can kind of see at this point, he's had a lot. So he seems like maybe it's probably time to kind of leave him be for the night. You guys probably want to get some rest as well. And
Oh, yeah.
certainly you can kind of go about whatever business you might want, in the morning.
Yeah, we'll all rest. I'd want to wait for close to midday before re-entering the house.
Okay, so you're easily able to rest. Besides going to look through the house, is there anything else you guys are looking to do here before you kind of head back?
I was hoping that we could get some kind of contact information for his contact that got him that book. As pre-Invarian relics, Invarian relics are myth in and of themselves, where pre-Invarian are beyond that, and I would like to know I would like to meet his friend.
Okay.
Or the location of that ruin.
Seems like a conversation that could wait.
He basically
the next
tells you
day.
he will send. He says he'll send something on to the collective for you.
Yeah,
you guys can.
I definitely want to follow up.
He'll
with-
send some information along with them. He also, your guys' search of his house finds that everything within the house is utterly ruined.
Can I find any evidence of Corey or any hints or anything?
You don't find any physical evidence of Corey, but as you're sort of going about your day, going about your search, in the brief times where maybe like you go into one room and whoever your like search buddy is slightly away. In moments when you find yourself like alone, you kind of feel in sort of like somewhere in your chest you feel a little bit of a warmth almost. It is despite your kind of mental state of renewed worry over all of this, you feel this like almost as if it's from an external source of like contentment kind of settling into your stomach. And you become pretty certain throughout the course of the day that whatever this was that took place, whatever this interaction that took place between you took place like within, almost in like a spiritual sense. The sort of this residual feeling sits inside you, right in the same place that you feel the like the source of your divine power kind of stem from. But I mean, you guys find plenty of like destroyed books and ruined like instruments, and there's really like essentially imagine like every single item in the house was like completely infested with this thing's like mycelium, and then when they dissolved, like all of the stuff just like dissolved around it. It is a little after midday when like a portion of the like the ballroom like collapses, and it becomes pretty evident that like the house is no longer structurally sound.
Yeah,
and it's unwise to continue to be inside.
I'll exit. I'm rather despondent, finding things that this is from the above.
If we were to check upstairs in the office, is there still remains of whatever that creature was?
Going back the next day, gone.
Okay.
As if it has like evaporated into the ether, much in the way that you saw a lot of its like illusions. Anything else any of you want to do? Say to any of the kind of the staff? They seem to be sort of.
I have a question for Bolus if he is feeling up to it.
Yeah, he's up and not up and about, but he's up the next day.
Look, I hate to do this to you because you've been through a lot, but I don't know when my next opportunity to talk to someone who has your domain of expertise.
He nods. Of course.
Do you know what this is? And I will show him my dragon dagger.
He takes it. And he looks at it for a minute. Does it have a sheath of its own?
Yeah.
Okay, so he kind of takes it out of the sheath. He looks at it. Perhaps not specifically, but I have seen similar artifacts before. I had one in my collection. I'm afraid I can't tell you much about its origin. There are those in the scholarly community who believe that these daggers were symbols of pacts between some of the great lizards, the dragon kind, prior to their extinction at the hands of the Empire. But little more is known about them. He says, I hope that is at least something more than you knew before, but perhaps not as much as you would like.
It certainly is. Do you know any of your colleagues who might be able to give more information about?
He kind of thinks, and he says, I will have to think on that. And he kind of looks wistfully towards the house. He says, my Rolodex has been thoroughly disintegrated, you understand. I will think and perhaps send some letters. And if I can come up with anything, the least I can do is to send word along to the collective.
Any help would be very much appreciated, but it's certainly not as important as getting everyone taken care of here.
And he nods and he says, indeed. And he, you see, he kind of like looks to where the room where you guys know that Finch is still sedated in there, and he looks pained with guilt over this whole thing. He says, my staff, my family are alive, and that is a blessing at least. And he looks kind of to the house. Pish posh, we'll rebuild it. He says, but you, whatever they're paying you, Colin and his pals, tell them to double it. Cheapskates. You're worth twice whatever it is. And he kind of waves a hand towards Mr. Felding, the butler, who comes forward and hands you guys a sack, which as you open it is full of gold.
While he was having that conversation, Alar's going to be talking briefly with the staff, thanking them for making it possible for them to, for all of us to have a chance.
They are equally as thankful towards you for saving them. The sack contains 500 gold. And he tells you, he says, "Now don't tell them I gave this to you, or there be. You make sure they still pay you your due for this job."
You are most kind, Mr. Trollyweather.
I do believe there was something back in town that we can use that on for our good friend.
When you are up to it, we did also bring some pies from Niveria.
He genuinely laughs at this. He says, "Well, on the doctor's orders, I don't think I'll be eating pies just yet, but it will speed my recovery greatly to know that it
Send
is
us
there."
a letter. I will make sure that one gets to you as soon as you are cleared to eat again.
And he kind of he nods, and there
Try
is
that cheese in town.
there is profuse thanks all around from the staff from Bolus. They tell you if you're ever in the area, you have a place at their hearth to stay. And well,
As part of the hearth, just falls off in the background.
the building collapses in the background.
There goes the heart.
The estate will be rebuilt, and they have their various promises to. Bolus will look into some information for you guys and try and pass anything he finds along, and they obviously owe you an endless string of favors if you want to call on them for anything that they can do for you.
As we're walking back to town, or if I have a chance to tell everyone, I will tell everyone that I had seen Corey.
Okay. So Nula relays her vision to you while she was collapsed.
I don't want to.
Shit on your dreams.
That sentiment, not those words. Are you sure it was not an illusion?
It was
We
her.
saw a lot of things.
It was not anything from that house.
How are you sure?
Ronnie is thoughtful as you guys are having this conversation. She's like, "Well, it was real messed up in there, but I don't remember it doing anything else or showing us anything else that it meant it knew stuff about us."
That is a good point. It didn't pull any of my memories out. So
Walter shudders just remembering that
I don't know
monster.
about you. I have a debilitating fear of furnaces.
yeah, I'm not too keen on them either.
You're welcome.
But she said that we all have to stick together. Especially you.
Look, are we just gonna have to get him like a carry handle so he can just pick him
She
up?
needs one of those like the baby things. She just carry him around.
Baby Bjorn for
Yeah.
Kel.
Thinking more of a back saddle, but yeah.
Look, if we're going to talk about sticking together, you've got to stop trying to drag me away from things.
I'm trying to save you from things.
People are going to get hurt because you're not helping them because you're running away with me. Which means that neither of us can help.
Just stay alive.
And Ronnie's like, did you see how much fire he can throw? He's probably fine. She's like, if you should run away with anybody, and she side eyes Walter a bunch, and then heartily like ribs you.
But
and
like
laughs.
both me and like Morgan are just yes.
Did you see those butterflies and those fire hands?
I just know that
Couldn't have made it without them butterflies.
Critical contribution.
Yes.
Securely hidden underneath their mess and your corpse / unconscious body.
Yeah, from our perspective, you kind of took a big fucking nap in the middle of the battle.
hey, I fought him from the other reality.
Yeah.
The one where
to
you
be
weren't
fair,
collapsed
we
on
were
top.
The one that mattered.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were the dreamers. She was the only one awake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a report, and we have another artifact to give to the.
Are they going to pay us if they have to destroy it and not study it?
I think they are. I just feel bad for Master Copperkettle.
Yeah.
But it's a direction. And it's a horrifying revelation in its own way.
It's also sad that this. In here, as he points to his pack, there's history before the Angarian Empire in here.
Don't open it.
I'm not gonna open it.
I'm just gonna look and make sure she wasn't talking at me. She was definitely talking to ALR.
You either.
That's fine. He has the book.
It's just
Between where to God.
between this.
I will
It's
leave
gonna
you to
have
the
to be
furnace
destroyed.
this time.
And that, and as he points back to the house, another chunk of it falls off in the distance. That there.
Would it
Just
make you feel better if we rob a store in town?
No.
Don't lie, it would.
It just means we have to find our own piece of history.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Yes,
in
preferably from a store in town.
Alright, I think that's a good place to call it end tonight's session. Join us next time when Brom steals a violin. So, thank you guys for joining us. God damn it, I have been waiting so long to get to the end of this story arc.
Preferably something in town. Brom steals a violin.
Our next episode will be an intermission episode, an interlude episode. You guys can steal your violin. We'll head back to Niveria and do some stuff.
Loot boxes.
We'll have another loot box, another loot crate,
Loot crate,
Um,
loot crate, loot crate.
and
some actual loot
set up
this
our next mini story arc. So hopefully we can get through this in more of a sequential order without a huge break. But my hope is to sort of keep the story flowing along nicely with this sort of kind of like mini arc interlude session mini arc thing, rather than necessarily one just extended 15 sessions of walking to a place. Let me hand these out.
We floated at least a little bit of time.
There was some floating, but I'm very excited. The meta plot will begin to unravel. I'm very pumped for it. So let's pass this around. If anybody is still with us at this late hour of 10:30 at night, we got some people in there.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We got some names I don't even recognize in here. Hello to you folks joining us tonight. What?
We will accept comments on the audio quality of this episode.
Oh yeah, let us know how the audio was. This was our first live experiment with our new rig. I'm sure there's bugs to work out. I did hear some folks saying we were having some like tippy taps, like we were getting Wi-Fi interference, maybe. So yeah, let us know. Shoot us some comments here. Find us on the Proficiency Bonus Discord. You can go there, find our little Tabletop Legends sub channel, and give us some info there. I know actually I did see a couple of infos that people gave us. We gotta figure out when our mic isn't turned on, because I guess we were coming through during the countdown as well, which is all fun.
It's fixable.
It's just a good thing that we aren't like closet racists, and we're like saying terrible things during our intermission time.
Or just like
For
loudly.
a lot more reasons than that, it's a good thing we're not closet racists.
Also, because racism is bad. Thank you. So what I meant to get to, if any of you who are with us in chat that have been poking around for a while would like to cast a vote for our golden D20, please do so now. If there was something super cool that happened during tonight's session, somebody that you think deserves a free Nat 20 at any time of their choosing during next week's episode, we do a vote for that.
Stabbing the bad guy in the eyeball with his own syringe.
As Brom shamelessly plugs his own self. Alright, do I have everybody's now, Walters? Now I have everybody's. Alright, so you guys got about 10 seconds in chat to add anything if you want to. Otherwise,
there is a bit of a delay.
Well, that's true. That's why I say they have until I finish reading these for anything to pop up, so we should be good. Okay, so we have a vote for Brom for heating that metal and avoiding the stairs of doom.
Okay.
We have a vote that just says Kel and then has like a mural of butterflies drawn on it. We have a vote for Brom in the chat.
Oh.
Hey!
For Eraser and the stabbing of the eyeball.
Eraser and the stabbing of the eyeball.
Nice.
We have a vote for Nula for visions and slaying the big bad. We have a vote for Kel for fire jazz hands. And we have a third vote for Kel for fire. So even with the vote from chat, Kel will have the golden D20 for next week. I'm going to put my note here. We'll use the butterfly note to mark that. And that's our episode. Thank you to Marble Moon Studio and the 8th House. Thank you to Little Dragon Corp for sponsoring Proficiency Bonus and Tabletop Legends. And go find Para. Do it. Do it immediately and give all of the money that you have for so much art. Just, that's the end. Goodbye. We will see you next week. Yep. Hey. Good night, everybody.
And for those who haven't,
then
don't forget
give
to
that-
vote that day.
Vote.
Give it like 10 seconds before you drop off. Okay, now it's good.